Well, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream. Today it's the 4th of November 2021, 3 minutes past 4 in the afternoon/evening. We're back in XP11, back at the excellent Zebo mod, and for the first ever time, we're doing a domestic sector in India. To all my friends in India, happy Diwali. I think it's Diwali today, isn't it? Festival of Light. That was very well timed. We're going to be doing a domestic sector. We're in Hyderabad in India. I think it's pronounced like that. We're going to be flying northbound for about an hour and 45 minutes to New Delhi. Flight time we discussed. We're going to be first time today looking at a technical failure. Now, this is something on the channel I've always been quite kind of skeptical about doing, just because I know some real line trading pilots and pilots in their type rating or doing their type rating. Look at this. I must stress, and I will remind everyone prior to actually executing this failure, this is only for entertainment today, but it doesn't matter. We'll still be following real world procedures, real world checklists. Look at the implications of losing one of our hydraulic systems on the 737, performance calculations. It's all been done for you and prepared to be as realistic as possible as well. On top of that, the weather in Delhi isn't that great because of huge amounts of pollution. The visibility is around 1500 meters. We should be okay to get in off a Cat 1 ILS, but we'll have to do a manual gear extension later, but I will discuss all of that later on. Let's see who we've got here in the live chat today. In today's live stream, we have Ayaman Sharma. He goes, "Hi mate, wow, this is such a pleasure for us Indians. You're most welcome." We've actually done a flight from India once before. We did India to Paro, but it's an area which I've not covered quite a lot here. We've got two excellent freeware airports as well, by Avinash C. Here we have Hyderabad, Rajiv Gandhi International Airport. We're flying to Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi as well, but I've downloaded Ortho for the entire sector, so it does look really nice as long as we'll be able to see the ground as well. K-Planes, hope you're doing well. Remember me, I love your videos. I like the vid, by the way. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, K-Planes, for liking the video. Really much appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. I can just about remember you coming in here in previous streams. So many people come in these days. Great Master Gaming, hello. Oh my goodness, the timing is actually so funny. I'm flying over Hyderabad descending into Karachi. There you go. Doctor on board, John Padfield, hope you're doing well. Matthew Presley as well. Rosny Rezex, Fazia Nasir, Lauren V 2500. I think it's pronounced Diwali. Yes, get your emojis out then for Inop. Not very good about intro song name, said Luigi Oscar. That was actually written by some of the members of my channel for me a few months back. Here's a custom made song there. So awesome stuff. Let's now zoom on in here then. So as I said, this is Hyderabad, Rajiv Gandhi International Airport. It's one of the biggest cities in India. I just looked for somewhere to do a nice sector, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours long as well. It's actually been quite a long time since we've done a stream in the Zebo mod publicly. The last time I was in it was in a group flight, so it's been left out for a while there. Thank you very much for the fiver from Dodgy Dave 737 Repair. No.
She's all fixed up for you, Governor. That hydraulic system will never fail again, or I'll eat my hat.
Dodgy Dave 737 Repair, thank you very much for your £5 donation. Absolutely brilliant. Oh my goodness me, I wonder what your hat's made of. Hopefully it's made out of something that's edible, because I've got a funny feeling that Dodgy Dave's repair job on my hydraulics is probably not going to be up to scratch there. Brilliant, whoever you are, you've got a fantastic sense of humour. I really appreciate the generosity as well. Thank you very much, Dodgy Dave. Unbelievable. No comment at all. Alpaca subcontracts to Dodgy Dave. So no, yeah, hey, maybe it's the okay, I've got a funny feeling it could have been there. Not what to say. Don't know what to say there. Andrea, wow, the airport looks super crowded. Yes, I did see some people jumping on here on the network. I say super crowded. Oh, look, I've been kicked out of VATSIM. Why is that? Disconnected from the network. Oh dear. Well, it can't be FPS. Oh, what's going on here? My VATSIM's completely crashed. Oh, and now it's reconnecting now. Oh, I did have lots of people there. They'll hopefully join any second there. Classic was absolutely classic there. I hope you're doing well as well, Ladbad. Thank you for the 2 months as a member, Matt Warren. Been looking forward to this all week. Good luck on the flight. Also, the Flight Deck to Sim hoodie is super comfy. Happy flying. Thank you very much, Matt Warren, for grabbing that hoodie a while back as well. That's very kind of you as well, purchasing some merch. Thank you. Right, anyway, yes, we're in a pre-release version of the mod. This is version 350-26. C. I've been actually talking with Zebo because I've been testing this non-normal system for a few days now. There was just some minor discrepancies So the master caution lights, what should have been illuminating, it's all been tidied up, the correct annunciations along with the gear too. There are actually a couple of limitations in XP11. There's a few things that don't work which would happen in real life, but they're very minor, you won't notice, but I will discuss those later when we have the failure activated, which we'll do just prior to, or just around 50 miles before top of descent. Anyway, there we are, into the cockpit, as professional as ever. There we go. Cool, so we turn the music down, completely cold and dark. I've not done anything else apart from just load up the aircraft onto stand and get my charts ready. Michelangelo, what does hydraulic system A control? So we'll talk about that in a bit more detail later, but in a nutshell, the primary flight controls, so aileron, rudder, elevator, two of the flight spoilers, ground spoilers, the alternate brakes, number one reverser, autopilot A, landing gear extension as well, and a couple of other systems I think I've missed out. Normal nose wheel steering, and PTU. So quite a lot of systems. However, with the flight controls, you know, both A and B equally control the flight control, so you don't lose. You know, this is actually, out of the two hydraulic systems, A and B, A is not as serious as losing system B. The actual operation of the aircraft and the way it flies, handles, is pretty identical to normal operations. You just got to make sure that you know, if you lose system B, you're in serious trouble because you have to revert to manual reversion. But we'll talk all that about that later on when we get into the cruise. Right, let's get the show on the road here. Let's just turn that right off. So batteries on, GPU can come on the bus, electric hydraulic pumps are on for now. Landing gear lever is down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights, and then we check all the aircraft documentation. Working our way down here onto the fire panel. We've got 3 green squibs, fault. We have fault APU detector in op, master caution overheat detector as well. Here comes the fire checks, engine overheat, wheel well, and engine fire warning lights, and the fire warning bell and fire warning lights illuminated. So yeah, I just mentioned, we'll talk about it later, but a couple of things which won't work. Well, when you lose hydraulic system A, there's a couple of things that will happen. Half of your flight spoilers won't work. That unfortunately isn't modelled. That's a limitation in XP11. Secondly, as well, the reverser on engine number 1, it's usually powered by system A hydraulic pressure. When you complete the checklist, you basically set up the standby hydraulic system to power the reverser. Unfortunately, that isn't modelled, so the reverser extension speed is the same as normal, which wouldn't be the case. It's usually about twice as slow. However, with X-Plane 12, I've been led to believe it'll allow for a bit more customization and complexity in dealing with non-normal situations. As Ebo said, when we repeat this in X-Plane 12, we'll have the ability to be able to model the fact that half the flight spoilers won't work, and also that the number 1 reverser would be slow, which is pretty cool. Ivo ATC events, what sky are you using? This is enhanced skyscapes, about $15, very worthwhile getting. Why does the airspeed tape sit at 45 knots on the ground? You'll have to ask Boeing, it just bottoms out at that point. It'll come alive once the airspeed is above 45 knots there. Perfect. What will the flight time be, says Rosny134? About an hour, 45 hour, 50 minutes or so. Perfect. Onto the overhead panel. We'll arm the emergency exit lights. Push the attend button. Let's get some fuel. So here is our operational flight plan. So the weather in Delhi, as we were being told by some, I think, Delhi residents earlier on at the start of the stream here, there's a lot of smoke, a lot of pollution. I think Delhi is one of the most polluted cities in the world with regards to air pollution. I think it's just the amount of cars and traffic there, and I think I've been reading about it. Delhi's doing a lot to try and improve the situation in that city, but right now it's calm winds, but there's only 1,200 metres visibility. The RVR's 1,900, so it is okay for a Cat 1 ILS later on. We'll have to keep a close eye on that because we don't want to commit to an airport where we've lowered the gear, because we won't be able to retract the gear once it's down later. So it's 21 degrees 1014, and the forecast is for smoke to be in the vicinity of Delhi for the next, well, all the way until midnight, basically, as well. I forgot to mention I'm running the stream 12 hours behind live time, so it is 16:13 Zulu real life. It's 04:13 in the sim, and I think Delhi's 5.5 hours ahead. So right now it's 9:30 in the evening, but it's 9:30 in the morning in the sim. Cool. Anyway, here's our flight plan. Based off the fact that the visibility is quite low, the smoke will take 30 minutes extra fuel. Anyway, I'll probably be wanting to take that if I was flying there today. So that would be 8.4, 9.4, let's call it 9.5, 9.6 tons on the fuel. and that will be enough to get there with 30 minutes of 30 minutes extra fuel before we have to commit or think about diverting. But that's based off being clean, not having the gear issue, which we'll have later. Passenger-wise, we're quite full today, 171 passengers booked on, so we'll enter that here. And I just wanted to show you this. My alternate today is, it's quite funny, it's Victor India Lima Kilo. It's called Luck Now. Which we might be needing. The alternate is Luck Now if we end up having to divert. That's where we're going. It's long enough runway there to get into a 737 there. Oh, I can see lots of smiley faces. I'm getting a gaming setup at Microsoft in 2020. I'm so excited. I can tell with the huge amount of emojis there. Amazing. Thanks, K-Plates. You only need to use one. The future, thank you. Alejandro, hi everyone. Oh, since looked on my standby today, watching streams always fun and entertaining. Thank you, Alejandro. I hope you survive your standby. Jonathan Wiltshire's bought a classic zipped tie hoodie as well. Thank you very much, buddy. He's been a member for a while there. I can't read the comment, it's unreadable for me, but you want to repeat it in chat or let me know what you said. That's great. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, getting some merchandise. Really appreciate that, buddy. John, 171 passengers who will never trust Dodgy Dave again. Brilliant. So there we are. That's the fuel sorted and being uplifted.
Ground flight deck hose is connected and starting refueling.
Excellent. So we won't put the seatbelt sign on. Flaps are up, which is up on the position here. Yes, database out of date. I know it's AirRack day today. I tested the sector yesterday and this morning prior to updating the AirRack. It is updated today. I've actually dispatched in real life with an expired AirRack. You can do it. I've checked the flight plan. It's all okay with the latest one as well. But I didn't have time to test the sector with the updated AirRack. And sometimes it can cause problems when updated. So I did hold off that today. Cool. Let's check the config. That's good. Stab terminal switches are in normal. And fault and fire tests done here. Just the cargo fire test. That's complete. Working away down here. Transponder is set to standby in 2000. Turn up the panel lighting. Rudder down trim, I imagine, is checked. Manual gear extension. We'll be using that later today. And circuit breakers are all in. Stall warning test. Number 1. Number 2. Mach airspeed warning test. 1 and 2 completed. Flight recorder's been tested. To pop the dome on. IRS to nav. Quite close to the equator here, so 6 minutes for the alignment, and the circuit breakers are all in on my side. We can now start the flight loading process. Someone's knocking on my door already. I've got a pre-departure clearance, so Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, you're cleared to Delhi off 09 right via a Debbia 7, that's what I'm planning, squawk 0672. And estimated time of departure off block at 16:36. No slots. ATIS information alpha. SID altitude is flight level 80. And when ready for push, call 120250. Very good. So 80. Squawk is in, which is squawk we need to put in 0672. So sort of will simulate using CPDLC that we've got our clearance there. 0672, we just need to load up the FMS. Well, we'll get the weather anyway, check that the audio is working, which it doesn't always work when we use VATSIM.
Type on first contact.
Let's have a listen.
Runway 9 right 27 left for taxi only.
Oh, it's probably... Oh, it was...
This is Rajiv Gandhi International Airport ATIS information alpha. At time 1530. Expect ILS approach. Landing and departure runway 9 right. Surface wind 090 degrees, 5 knots. Visibility 6 kilometers. Standard 1,500 feet. Standard 10,000 feet. Temperature +23. Dew point +22. QNH 1015. Transition altitude 7,000 feet. Transition level 085. Advised aircraft type on first
levels.
Contact. Runway 9 right 27 left for taxi only.
Perfect. I guess it would then say information, blah. Perfect. Anyway, that's all Copied. Information Alpha. Runway 09 right for departure, which is good because they don't have a taxiway there to the parallel runways. You actually have to utilise one of the runways there, 09 left. 23 degrees, QNH is 1015, which we can now set here. So elevation is quite high, look, 2,000 feet. MF rate, I don't, as you can imagine, have any performance data for any of the airports in India, so we'll set the MF rate of 3,000 feet. So we'll be using NADP 1 here today. Or 3,040 should do. Oops, 3,040, and all good here. Turn up the lighting. Check the oxygen. Fail, but there we are. We'll also check the crew oxygen at this stage as well. Where is the crew oxygen gauge? We have sufficient for dispatch. Perfect. We can now load the FMC. MEP, it will be a hydraulics failure. Yes, so I'm gonna. They're going to use the in-house Zebo failure later here, hydraulics, and then we're going to do a leak of System A. The whole process takes about 2 or 3 minutes as well. So there'll be no startle surprise because I know it's coming. I'll be activating the failure. However, I'll be doing another technical failure stream in the future where I'll use the X-Planes failure system, and where you can actually set, look, I would like the failure in between, say, now and the next 1 hour as well. So no startle or surprise today. I'll be just activating it manually there. Ron, you're making an official remastered version of the same airport with a new layout. Shame couldn't get it ready for the stream. Ron, will email me when it's ready. I'm always getting emails from all sorts of developers regarding their scenery that they want to showcase in a stream or anything like that, so I have no problem doing that. We'll see if we can perhaps come back. Perfect. Right, now let's load up the flight management computer. There we are. So, we don't have the latest ARIC installed as discussed, but we are good to dispatch here. We are in Hyderabad. Pronunciation, I'm not 100% sure. Victor Oscar Hotel Sierra, and we are North 17 East 788. Destination's New Delhi, Victor India Delta Papa. Call sign is Alpaca, Victor Charlie Papa, 32 Delta Papa. Departing 9 right. Oh god, I'm turning American. Departing 09 right, and we've already been given our clearance via CPDLC.
Is all loaded up, and you are good to go.
Thanks, Jason. Seatbelt sign could come on. SID then is a Deba 7. Deba 7 via Buzzboat, and then from Buzzboat we'll be routing Whiskey 20 to Bravo Papa Lima. From there, Quebec 24 to Bavox. So we'll then be flying an arrival. Bavox 5 Foxtrot. Now I have no clue about Delhi, what the preferred landing runway is. I looked at flight radar earlier. They were landing on the easterlies, so some were landing on 10, some were landing on 11. I went for 11 because it's the first runway we get to from the south. So we'll see if we have ATC later what they're using. We'll need a little bit of flexibility, hopefully. I've advised in my notes section on the flight plan that I'll be simulating a hydraulic issue, and we'll just require extended vectors to lower the landing gear, basically. There shouldn't be too much disruption. That approach there, all these transitions are based off the conventional arrivals using VOHS and DME arcs, so we're simply flying the Bavox 5 Foxtrot, which is like an RNAV arrival, and you simply go on CILS for that, so we're not actually selecting any of the transitions today. We can activate, imagine it's been checked, we'll execute it, and there should be no discontinuities. It should be all joined up. Let's have a little look here. Step through what we can see. There we are, so it's already on the arrival, just to show you briefly now. And it puts you sort of on a downwind 40, position, 30, straight onto the ILS 20, approach there. Thank you very much, Fabio Aragoni, for the €5. That's very kind of you, sir.
Hey Captain,
hey.
How's life? Just downloaded the alpaca livery for the Bay 146 to fly in style.
Oh, style! Thanks, Microsoft John, for the enthusiasm there. Thank you very much, Fabio. Looking forward to hearing you fly in style, or good to hear you're going to be flying in style in the 146. That's Jamlin who made that great livery for that. And when you open the speed brakes up at the rear, you should see it saying butter or bust. So amazing, Fabio. Enjoy your flights in the excellent Just Flight BAE 146, an aircraft we've flown a number of times on this channel there. So thank you very much. Appreciate it, buddy. Exactly, Tim. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Tim, what is style? Love it when it does that. Right, the only other thing I wanted to change is 2,600 above later, otherwise it won't fly as CDA, or VNAV won't fly as CDA. Perfect, 0 fuel weight, 58 tons, based off our passenger load of 171 passengers. Why is that 58.9? I swear when I was planning this, 171 passengers was the required payload. 58.0. No, there's a slight discrepancy between what I was actually planning and what we've actually got there. 58.9 and 58. Okay, it's 900 kilos, so it's not, and it's on the heavier side. If there's a discrepancy, like, well, there always is. Remember this figure here. In reality, this is what we do at my operator. We put in as in the planning stage this exact 0 fuel weight where my mouse cursor is, because that's what we're planning. It's usually less because it's based off the amount of checked-in passengers. Obviously, not all the passengers turn up, and the 0 fuel weight is most of the time less. It could be up to a ton, 2 tons less, and a lot of people haven't turned up. It's unusual for it to be heavier. If it was heavier, then something's probably wrong. But we'll imagine that in this case, yeah, it's slightly down, 58.9. So let's say it's about 10 passengers haven't turned up. We've closed the gate. So that's on our side. Reserves 3.1 tons to get to Lucknow. Cost index, we'll use Alpaca Airways standard of 30, cruising at 36,000 feet. That is executed. Top of climb wind will be 234 at 34. Top of climb ISA is 3 degrees. We're going to go to legs, route data. Just need to get out of plan mode there. Route data. Top of climb wind, or sorry, average wind 257 at 58. That's executed. Temperature 23 degrees. Now, quite a long runway here in Hyderabad, but because it's quite warm, 23 degrees, quite high, the density altitude is a little bit higher than our actual altitude. I was actually looking at the moment before the stream.
50, 40,
so the current elevation
30,
here
20, 10.
is... Oh, thank you very much, Dominic. I'll let that read off there.
Good afternoon, Captain.
Good afternoon.
My first officer wants to send you a 5-spot because she does not want Alpaca Airways to go down like Eastern did.
What's that, Dominic? My first officer wants to send you a 5-spot. Is that, I don't know what that reference is. 5-spot because she does not want Alpaca Airways to go down like Eastern did. Well, I think Eastern's now defunct, isn't it? Well, I appreciate the donation there, Dominic. Very kind of you. Alpaca Airways is nowhere near getting defunct, so we'll be all good there. Polcaster, just saw your comment as well regarding ISA. Yeah, sorry, you're right. I put average wind in accidentally. Well spotted. 11 there. Thank you, Dominic, for your donation. Very kind of you, sir. Appreciated a lot there. Yes, I was the average wind component of 3 knots. Well spotted. Anyway, as I was saying, in Hyderabad at the moment, what is the temperature here? It is 23 degrees Celsius. The elevation here is about 2,000 feet. The actual density altitude is about 3,500–4,000 feet, so quite high up, and even though it's long, I'm going to use full 24k just to allow for the increase in density altitude there. Flat 5 is set, CG is 20.2% CG, so 6 units of trim there. 5-spot equals 5 quid. Is that an American term? I've never heard of 5-spot or that slang term. First officer wants to send you a fiver because she does not want Alpaca to go down like Eastern. Got you. Okay. Thank you very much, Dominic. Never heard of 5-spot. V2 is set 148 knots. And that is all loaded in. It's a British term too. Oh dear, I didn't know that one. Thanks for subscribing, Dallon Piero. Welcome on board, buddy. Right, FMS is all loaded. Fuel dampers on. Nav transfer display switches are all normal auto. Fuel. All pumps can come on. I think we've got 1600 in the centre, so centre tank pumps come on as well. Crossfeed valve, bright, dim, bright, and off. Cabin utility galley power's on. IG disconnects, guards are closed. Working our way down here. Turn up the panel lighting. Window heats can come on. Anti-ice is off, electric hydraulic pumps are off, voice recorder on, trim air's on, Pax auto. Cruising at 360, elevation is 800 feet, and onto the MCP. So flight director's on, master's my side, and the departures an RNAV SID, so it's the Debier 7, RNAV 1, if unable to comply, tell ATC you'll get vectors, radio loss of RT contingency procedure, and for Debier 7 it's Hotel Lima 101, Hotel Lima 101, and then it's 121, 122, 121, 122, restrictions 3,600, 4,600, 230 above. So it's all coded, tracks and distances make sense, and we're going to head off all the way up here to Buzzbone. We should be approaching our cruise level at that point. So nice and simple RNAV SIDs, just got to make sure the tracks and distances match the plate, briefing from chart to FMC. The SID stop attitude's been confirmed, which we were told would be flight level 80. So that is all set, and I will put in. Well, you can't really put in 80 anywhere. We just have to remember that is the case there. 20 quid's a score, 500 quid's a monkey. Is this? Are you a real Brit? Said Chad. I know. These are all really old-fashioned terms of Wonga. I've never heard of these before. Amazing. Panky Tech, yo matey, good luck on the flight. Thank you very much, buddy. Astrodew, why isn't the speed of the MCP VT plus 10? I thought that was useful for both engines on. So actually the aircraft, when you've got two engines operating, it'll command a speed of around V2 plus 20. If you have an engine failure, it doesn't actually matter what you've bugged here. The flight directors will command a speed based on what speed the engine failed. If the engine failed prior to V2, but after V1, obviously you're taking off, the flight directors will command V2. If you have an engine failure between V2 and V2 plus 20, the flight directors will command whatever speed that failed at, and if you had an engine failure above V2 plus 20, it will command V2 plus 20. So we set V2 here because if we have an emergency turn or what we call a special engine out SID, we have to actually fly on certain engine out SIDs at V2, so that's why we bug it, and you might actually have to look through the flight directors because the flight director might not be commanding the correct speed there, so it's just there as a reference there, but the actual automation isn't bugging or pitching for the speed set on the MCP. Cool, so we've briefed the SID, yes we didn't actually brief the taxi,
50,
stand 55 or 50 sorry,
30,
push back
20,
probably to face
10.
west out via Bravo 412 Bravo, or the active runway. Thank you very much PTES.
Love that you flying from Hyderabad.
Very
I
cool.
lived there for work for 12 months in 2016 to 2017.
No idea, Pete.
The home of the biryani.
That was a beautiful pronunciation by Microsoft Janet there. Thank you very much, Pete, for the tenner. That's very, very kind of you today. Or as we're going all old British slang, what was it again? I don't know what a tenner is there. What was a fiver? Thanks for the 2 5 spots. That's very, very kind of you, Pete. Thank you for the continued support as a member as well. Lucian, is Zebo a study level aircraft? Ah, yes, that term used often. It's very good. Certainly the handling, certainly the flights from A to B. And now, actually, because I've been helping Zebo ensure that we have the correct enunciations with this failure, you can actually simulate this failure quite realistically. But big disclaimer, you've got to always remember, with any desktop simulator aircraft, there's always going to be some limitations, and certainly the modelling when it comes to non-normal situations isn't always 100% accurate, and it's quite important that I stress that with all my content. Yes, I've got the experience and stuff like that, but what I'm flying might not necessarily react or behave in the correct way, but it's certainly close. So yeah, very good aircraft indeed. Right, so we briefed the taxi, as I said, out, push back onto Echo. We'll eventually get onto Bravo. We have to enter the runway via Bravo 6, the latest, because the only way to get full length by 09 right is on 09 left, which they're using as a taxiway here. Right, we've briefed everything. We'll get better pushback of the AP up and running, and I forgot we need to actually get Andy wheeled in into the flight deck so we can actually complete some checklists. Let me just call for better pushback as well. We'll get it connected first.
Alright, Captain, doors driving up.
He sounds very authentic, very, very good, but I didn't hear what he said. I think he said he's driving up. There he is, perfect. Let me just get hold of Andy. I forgot to open him up before the start of the stream here. So where are you, Andy? There we are. Checklist. Perfect. So then, Andy, can I have the safety inspection checklist, please?
Safety inspection checklist. Surfaces and chocks.
That's checked.
Maintenance status.
Checked.
battery.
Is on.
Electric hydraulic pump.
On.
Landing gear lever.
Down.
Ship's library.
Checked.
Safety inspection checklist complete.
Perfect. Safety inspection checklist is complete. We'll now do the before start checklist for line, please, Andy.
Before start checklist to the line. IRS mode selected.
They are nav.
Gear pin.
Okay,
Removed.
Captain. All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Perfect. Andy even stops when he's reading. Gear pins removed. Oh, he's now stopped talking. Andy?
Light test.
Thank you. Light test we'll do now. So move that switch to test. Check all the lights are illuminated, which they are on the MCP, all the 8s, 0s, all the lights are on here. Individually you have to check the FMC, autopilot, auto throttle status lights. Andy would have to do the same. And working our way down here, the only light that isn't illuminated is wheel well fire. And that is complete. So move that to bright and you reset that as well. So lights are checked.
Oxygen.
Tested 100%.
Yaw damper.
Is on.
Nav transfer and display switches.
Normal auto.
Fuel.
So let's check our operational flight plan, which is just here. So we have 8-4 required. We have on board there, what was it we asked for? 9-6 on board, and we should have 6 pumps on. There we go.
Cabin util IFE galley power.
On.
Emergency exit lights.
Armed.
Fasten belt.
On.
Window heat.
On.
Air conditioning and pressurization.
So PAX auto, bleeds on and set.
Pressurization mode selector.
Auto.
Instruments.
Cross-checked.
Auto brake.
RTO.
Hydraulics.
They are normal.
Speed brake.
Well, let's just get this reset first. Make sure you actually check the hydraulics. Don't just say normal. That's classic rhyme repeat response there. So at the moment, our hydraulics are fine. We have sufficient quantity for dispatch, which is 76% minimum. And we need at least 2,800 PSI. It's usually pretty close to 3,000. So that's just the way the mod's always been. So hydraulics are normal. Speed brake is down D10. We do a config check as well at that stage. Go over the rest of the checks.
Parking brake.
Set.
Stab trim cutout switches.
Normal.
Wheel well fire warning.
Checked.
Radios, radar and transponder.
Set and standby.
Rudder and aileron trim.
3 and 0.
Takeoff briefing.
Discussed.
PA.
Complete.
FMC CDU.
Is set.
N1 and IAS book.
Oh, sorry, I cut him off there. N1 IAS bucks. We've got full 24k. It'll be a little bit less than that. We should get the AP bleed on now. So looking for us of 96.1, 41, 42, 48 is set on the MCP. So N1 IAS bucks are set.
Stab trim.
That was 6.0 units required. 6.0 units set.
Performance, weight and balance.
Side and set.
Phones.
Off.
EFB.
Airplane mode stowed.
40,
Flight deck windows
30.
and cockpit door.
That's to
20.
come because I need to get the doors
10.
closed. Thank you very much, Steve Mayer, for the £4.50. Very kind of you, sir. Hope you're doing well.
For a tea on your next flight.
Welcome. Oh, thank you very much, Steve Mayer. That's very kind. Actually, I need to get some tea bags because I actually take my own tea to work because I could dispense all my stuff my own there. But I actually do need to get some PG tips. I'll get that for you, Steve Mayer. PG tips. Other tea bags are available as well. That's very kind. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the continued support. Jonathan Wiltshire, I didn't hear the PA. What are you on about? It was beautiful PA. Flight deck window and cockpit door vent. So let's just get the doors closed. Zebo's actually updated the annunciation for all the doors, if I can remember how to find it. There we are, so it's a lot clearer now to see if they're closed or open. They all flash amber if they're in transit, red if they are closed, open, and green if they're closed. There we are. So flight deck window and cockpit door, well, my number 1 will be closing the door shortly.
Doors.
Closed.
Passengers.
Are seated.
Before start checklist completed to the line.
Excellent, so we're all ready to go. We can now request push and start. For those of you who have just tuned in, welcome to the stream. If you're very much interested in looking at the loss of System A and how I'm going to deal that will be happening just prior to top of descent, which will be about an hour, 20 minutes into the flight. We'll do it a little bit earlier, the failure, so we can discuss the implications of losing this particular hydraulic system, and we'll go from there. Perfect. We'll now talk to our friend on approach. We have all sorts of loads of people online now. We've got Tower as well. Very cool. and the tower. What have they called
Roger,
you?
after the aircraft will push back. You said facing which direction?
They'll be facing west on Echo.
Facing west on Echo. I'll back up by my first one.
Hyderabad Tower, very good evening. Alpaca 32 Delta Papa stand 50, and we have our clearance squawking 0672. Request push and start.
Alpaca 32 Delta Papa Hyderabad Tower, very good evening. You are cleared for pushback and start. Face west on Echo.
And push start approved, face west onto Echo Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Right, so better push back.
Alright, Captain, show me where you want to go.
So facing west, do something like this, and do something like this. We can exit via that.
Doors connected and bypass pin has been inserted. Release parking brake, sir.
Well, just before that, we need to do the before start checklist below the line, please, Andy. So we get the aircraft configured first. So packs off, anti-collision lights, parking brake, and transponder out off, and then we'll do the before start checklist below the line.
Before start checklist below the line. Air conditioning pack.
Off.
Anti-collision light.
On.
Parking brake.
Is set.
Transponder.
Is out
Before
off.
start checklist complete.
Thanks, Andy. Right, parking brake we can release. Let's go.
Okay, sir, starting pushback and you may start engines.
Excellent. Oops, naughty night bots.
75 Foxtrot, you seem to be turned onto a stand here. Is everything alright?
Oh dear.
Negative, the full VR on mic at the moment. The 75 Foxtrot is because we haven't updated.
Cockpit door, that should have been closed.
Negative, you're not on mic. Actually, you were taxiing on Echo. You have turned right onto a stand.
So was that a nightmare? Packet what tea do you like? Twinings, PG tips, PG tips. Supermarket tea, ugh. That one, Andy really wants to get into the air, I know, it's holding me up. Right, starting engine number 2. Oh, it's great to be back in the Zemo mod. Been really fun preparing for this stream as well, guys, because I've said it before, you know, it allows me to delve into the manuals again and I refresh all my own knowledge on the hydraulic systems dealing with this technical failure. It's one that we look at during the type rating as well, and I used to Instructor. So actually to review the topic myself, it's really beneficial. So N2, N1, oil pressure 25%. I do it. Is it me or does that engine sound different? It sounds like something's open. Did you hear that? It sounded unusually loud. I don't know. That doesn't sound right. Just double check the doors are closed. Forward entry. I closed you. Ah! You said I was like to cross check. Oh. It's something to do with the air bridge, isn't it? Thank goodness I noticed. God damn it! Starting engine number 1. I can tell you that wouldn't happen in reality. That's better. Sounds a little bit quieter. N2. Oil pressure N1. Yeah, it was closed. It's just
Operation complete. Set parking brake, sir.
when you do the better pushback, it does that sometimes.
Disconnecting tow, sir. Stand by.
Did you plan a door failure? Unbelievable.
And, 75 Foxtrot,
Cabin crew is on the tarmac. Excellent. Any more?
Hold Alpha 10.
Are we going to make it for a hydraulic failure? I don't know at this rate, Anthony. Oh dear. Nice freeway airport, this one. Avanish Sea. If you use the command ! scenery and then type that into Google, you can find all the scenery information for you. Goes really well with the ortho. Right, disconnected. Or disconnecting. It was closed. Bingo card, anyone? Brilliant. Elliot Smith, I used to teach. Give me time to go over the manuals and refresh my knowledge. Leaves the door open.
Doors disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right, and we'll see you next time. Have a safe flight up there, sir.
Thank you very much. Happy Diwali to you, sir. Diwali. Enjoy the Festival of Lights. Perfect. So we'll just wait until we've seen the bypass pin, and we'll configure and we'll continue to configure the aircraft ready for taxi.
Tower, Alpaca 5 Mike Foxtrot, ready for taxi.
There we are, bypass pin has been seen. So, start switches can now go to continuous, probe
And
on,
Alpaca
anti-ice
5 Mike
off,
Foxtrot,
packs auto,
taxi, holding point Bravo 6 via
set.
Echo and Mike 1.
just turn
Holding
down
point
that
Bravo 6,
slightly.
yeah, Echo Mike 1, Alpaca 5 Mike Foxtrot.
There we are. So, bring up the control column. So, flight controls, full forward, full back, left and right. Here comes the rudders, full right, full left, recall, and blank the lower DU. And Andy, can I have the before taxi checklist, please?
Before taxi checklist. Generators.
On,
APU.
off,
Start switch.
continuous,
Probe heat.
on,
Anti-ice.
off.
Air conditioning.
Got packs order bleeds on.
Isolation valve.
Auto.
Flaps.
So flaps very important. So we check. We've got 5 required, 5 selected, and we've got 5 on the gauge and a green light.
Stab trim.
5.75 units require 5.75
And,
unit sets.
Alpaca
Start
5,
levers.
correction,
Unintense
Flight control.
checked.
From your stream, someone has
Recall.
asked me
Checked.
to ask
Before
you
taxi
if all
checklist
doors are
complete.
closed.
Yeah, doors are closed now. Unbelievable.
Roger, thank you.
Gotta have the banter. Gotta have the banter. Who was that? Who messaged them? Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa request taxi. No.
Alpaca 3-2 Delta Pop, correction, Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa, followed the company aircraft all the way to Mike 1 and Bravo 6.
I followed company traffic to Mike 1 Bravo 6 Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa. So we're going to be taxiing Mike 1. So let's just locate that on the parking stand chart. So we've just pushed back here. So it's all the way to the end. There's Mike 1 onto Bravo, and then Bravo 6 is the whole point to enter the runway. So pretty happy with that. So taxi light on.
Alpaca 5 Mike
Just
Foxtrot,
park
looks
brake.
like you've done the same thing.
Config. There we are on our way.
Yeah, I think it's a problem with the Microsoft 2020. I'm on the vehicle access road right now, so I'll just try to find Mike 1 from there.
I get that now. Microsoft flies in this, right?
Okay. That might explain why they're going all over the place.
75 Foxtrot, wind 1005 knots, runway 09 right, get the takeoff.
Runway 09 right, your takeoff with that 15 Foxtrot. I believe that's the issue throughout the simulator. Facing the simulation and explaining to the network.
So it could be a scenery issue then. Let's see if we've got the same problem. We should. Whoa. Okay, what's going on? My my thrust lever just completely jumped up there. I didn't even touch it. That was weird. Yeah, that would be requiring some explaining. Why we got? What's it doing? I'm not touching the thrust lever on my joystick. It's just I've not touched it once. It's like.
Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa, looks like you've only following the company traffic after all, so just hold short Bravo 6 on me.
Hold short Bravo 6, and even X-Plane I've got the same scenery issue, so the only left I can take here is a Bravo 5, is that okay?
Bravo 5 should do, yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, it looks like it doesn't work for us as well, so this scenery is out of date. Look, it's a continued turn, so I could only take Bravo 5. And we'll just hold short here. Yeah, I don't know what... Look, you see, look at the thrust. I'm not even touching it. I think there's a little bit of noise coming up from the thing. It's just at rock idle, but it's. I think there's like a little bit of noise. Oh, no, I've just moved it back to idle. Anyway, and we best just hold at Bravo 5, because that was our clearance limit. We just want to make sure because I'm not sure if this runway is active or not. Dodgy Dave did not quite do the servicing. Yeah, it just happens to be on the failure stream that I've got a bit of noise here on my thrust lever. And Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa holding at Bravo 5.
Roger, Alpaca 3-2 Delta Foxtrot, number 2 for departure. Alpaca Mike, correction 5 Mike Foxtrot. Taxi onto runway 09 right and hold short after 10.
I think you meant 09 left.
Roll taxi on to runway 09 left and all short on Alpha 10.
Yeah, so it's definitely a scenery issue, look. You can see here Bravo just abruptly stops, so this whole area isn't actually modelled here with the scenery. Look, you see it just stops at stand 59.
And Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa, once again follow the company, taxi 09 left, or short Alpha 9.
Following company, enter 09 left via Bravo 5, hold short Alpha 9, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Okay, so we're following the company Airbus. When Flight Deck Sim says failure stream, he means failure stream. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a little bit of noise there on my control, on my joystick, but that has never happened before. That's the first time I've seen that happen.
There's 75 Foxtrot.
Bit of a slope on the runway here as well.
So 75 Foxtrot, contact approach on frequency 120250.
120250.
Anyway, we're on our way now. Farron, when will you lose the hydraulics? Around... I'm going to have to do it around 40-50 miles before top of descent. So we could discuss the implications, perhaps continuing, diverting, returning, you know, all these options there as well. And we'll go for a bit of a decision-making process. With loss of System A, what we're simulating today, you've got 3 hydraulic systems on the 737. System A, System B, and a standby hydraulic system. If you lose either System A or System B, the actual functionality of the aircraft, the ability for the aircraft to fly, is not really affected. You have System A and B both equally providing hydraulics for all the primary flight controls. If you lose both System A and System B, it's a nightmare. You have to revert to manual reversion. It's a mayday situation. It's difficult to control the aircraft, but it is controllable. The chances of that happening are very slim. We'll discuss all that later, guys, because right now I need Jim to do the before takeoff checklist. So that before takeoff checklist,
before
please.
Takeoff checklist.
Thanks,
to
Jim.
the line. Config.
Checked.
Flaps. Behind the departing traffic, line up and wait behind.
Behind the departing company traffic, line up and wait behind Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Did I just run someone over? What was that noise? What's going on today? Before takeoff checklist, please, Jim. Flaps.
Stab trim.
5.5 green light. Stab trim is 6 units set, 5.75 units set. I just missed my left turn here. Takeoff briefing, please.
Takeoff briefing.
Thank you. So onto the overhead panel. PAX auto bleeds on. V speeds are set for departure. We have 41, 42, 48 set, and we're going to be flying the Deba 7 via Buzzbow transition, which is straight ahead to ML 101, and then left turn to ML 121. Stop climb flight level 80, NADP 2. Any problems will climb straight ahead to flight level. Well, let's go straight ahead 5,000 feet. That's it. Cabin.
Cabin.
Secure.
Before takeoff checklist completed to the line.
Thanks, Andy. We'll be clear to line up and wait as well. So lights on, pop the taxi light off. That reminds us we don't have our takeoff clearance. And strobes can come on. Weather radar. Not bit too much thrust, but it is uphill here. Auto throttle, LNAV, and transponder to TARA. So MCP is set here. Looking good. Transponder, TARA, strobe lights can come on, and we're just waiting for our takeoff clearance. Just missing the airport annunciation. There we go. And Andy, before takeoff checklist below the line, please.
Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP
is set.
Transponder.
TARA.
Strobe lights.
On.
Landing lights.
Landing lights to come. Just waiting for our takeoff clearance.
Paprika 5 Mike Foxtrot, contact Shamshabad radar frequency 120.
Well, I can't pronounce that one.
Over to departure 120.
Look at my thrust. Why is it doing that? I've got to get that fixed. Just realised my runway heading's not quite set. All my courses. Whoops. From my test sector still. There we are. Just get the parking brake set. Yeah, thrust is a bit jumpy today.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
I didn't even press play there. Thanks, Andy. Even though we're waiting for our takeoff clearance. Flyboy, what do you mean when the pilots say below the line? So if we have a look at the control column, there's a line dividing the before takeoff, waiting for departure, and below the line is after we've got our takeoff or line up clearance there. Same on the before start. before start checklist to the line is up to the point where you're ready for push and start. After the line is once you've got your push and start clearance. We're just waiting for our takeoff clearance now. Andy's all over the place today, isn't he? Excellent. There we are, ready to go. Delay for our takeoff clearance. Don't know what they're growing in the field here. Sam, would thrust control issues not necessitate that you don't take off? Ah, yeah, well this is sim related issues, yes. If the thrust was having any uncommanded controls, no way am I going up.
Then 1005 knots, runway 09 right, you are clear for takeoff.
09 right, clear takeoff, Alpaca 3, Delta Papa. Landing lights are on, thanks Andy. Before takeoff, checklist complete. Let's go to Delhi everyone, timing. Toga's in chat. Let's get on our way. That's 40% stabilise, push Toga, set takeoff thrust. We're 96.1. Takeoff thrust sets, indications. Checked, release forward pressure. A little bit uphill here, look.
V1, rotate.
Up we go. 2.5 degrees per second. And we're airborne.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up. And trim. Jumping into the flight deck. A bit of stuttery here.
1000.
Command A, bug up. But V2 plus 15. Get rid of the control column. And flap 1. Just disable navigraph. Sometimes that can cause some stuttering. That's better.
32 Delta Papa, you can contact Shank about radar frequency 120.25. That's a very good stream you do in the
120250. No, thank you very much for providing ATC today for the guys. And we'll see you soon. Back in 32 Delta Papa, bye.
Yep, see ya.
Cool. So just waiting until we are 3,000 feet above AGL. Which is at 5,000 feet, there we are, so flaps up, no lights, VNAV, set standard, just do 220 knots that initial turn, and we'll go vertical speed, 2,000 feet per minute, and flaps up, no lights, standard set, passing 5-6, flight level 80, we'll just check in with ATC and then we'll do the after takeoff checklist. Radar, very good evening, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa on the Debbia 7. Busboat transition passing 60 for flight level 80.
Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, Shamshabad radar, hello, you are identified on radar. 15 flight level 120.
Flight level 120, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So 120 checked, VNAV.
Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, proceed direct to Busboat, Bravo Uniform 0 Bravo Oscar.
Direct Busboat, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Lovely little shortcut that will take off pretty much the entire SID. So if you have a look here, the SID goes all the way in that direction. Execute that, and that's going to save us significant fuel and track miles. When you get shortcuts in the climb like that, you always save a lot of fuel. Right, so after takeoff checklist, so air conditioning and pressurization. We have 2.2 auto. Switches are in the right position, trim is on. So air conditioning and pressurization is set. There's no checklist read by PM my operator for the after takeoff checklist. It's all done by the PM, and he just verifies with a challenge that we have standard set once to be cleared to apply to a flight level. So standard set passing gate 5 for 120. After takeoff checklist completes. Cabin crew released, and we're on our way to Delhi. and I've got ortho. There we are. There is Hyderabad down there. Look at that massive city. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, being ortho downloaded for the entire sector. 17 around the airports, 15 en route. Looking resplendent. How many times do you have to refresh, test, retrain, practice failure scenarios such as this in real life once you become a captain? So, same as everyone else, Dennis, as first officer as well. Doesn't matter what your rank is, every 6 months you'll go in the simulator to form a check flight, check ride essentially. They're called LPCs and OPCs. Climb flight level 160, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So 160 checks. In the summer we do a 1-day check and training day, and in the winter we do a 2-day. 1 day's a training flight, training sim, and the other one's training and check as well. And throughout a 3-year period, we'll have covered all of the individual systems on the aircraft. So hydraulics does come into it, and I think last time we did hydraulics, about a year ago, we did do loss of system A. We then look at loss of system B, things like very tricky ones like manual reversions, volcanic ash, dual engine failures. That isn't actually examined. You don't, you can't pass or fail that item. You can, perhaps repeat it, but they won't do a check flight on something as critical as that because there's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's very much dependent on the situation. You have to do whatever's best to essentially save the aircraft, but they will check you on your circle to lands, normal approaches and procedures as well, and engine failures. Right, best do the pre-cruise checks as well. We don't need engine anti-ice, so warm here, look, 14 degrees, even though we're up at 13,400 feet. So pre-cruise checks, fuel 6 pumps on, we are still feeding from the centre, 900 kilos there, lights we can pop off, AP verifiers off, pressurisation 4.0 psi, and sets, let's take the passengers out, and recall, we're above the cloud now as well. Pre-cruise checks complete. Thanks for grabbing the weather for New Delhi. We've got 1100 metres RVR, runway... Oh no, 1100 metres visibility. RVR runway 2829 is 1600 metres, 1900 metres. That actually would suggest that the westerly runway is in use then, runway 2829. So, fine for a Cat 1 ILS. I don't want it to get much less than that. Vertical speed. Getting a bit of a step climb here. Climb flight level 200, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So 200 checked, and VNAV. Welcome. Sam, sorry Captain, what was you going to say about if you're having uncommanded thrust lever movement? Well, that's very unlikely to happen. Uncommanded thrust lever movement, so the thrust levers moving on their own. I don't think that could possibly happen. You can just simply disconnect the auto throttle. What can happen, it is a fault, which can happen with the FADEC or something like that, where the thrust on the engine is uncommanded, so it'll actually increase or decrease thrust on its own without moving the thrust levers. It's very rare, but it can happen. There isn't actually a checklist for that either.
Switching to Unicom 122.8, Alpaca 5 Mike Foxtrot, thanks for the ETC, bye.
NAC and what are the buttons beneath the command buttons? The control wheel steering, yes, well, I'll show you. Control wheel steering A, so the autopilot is no longer following the flight directors, but we can manipulate the autopilot. The autopilot's still connected by using the control column. So if I now pitch nose down, the altitude of the aircraft will decrease, and if I let go, it'll just hold the attitude. So that's control wheel steering. It turns it into an Airbus, ladies and gentlemen. If I just hold the attitude up again now, oh, you'll feel that. That'll be quite an increase in G. If I put it up to 10 degrees, let go, it'll just hold the attitude at 10 degrees. And I better not do that, so I'll go back to command, otherwise the aircraft won't level off. And there you go, out hold. We should get out to quiet first, but it's got a little bit early. It's an Airbus now, exactly, Ricardo. Yeah, probably didn't like me being in control wheel steering the one there. But Zebo's built a beautiful out to quiet system on this aircraft. It basically looks at your rate of climb or rate of descent and generates a closure rate which is lovely and smooth to level off. 122 display, thank you so much to the ATC. We'll see you soon. Alpaca 32 Delta Papa Pie. Perfect. Over to Unicom for now. And, well, we might as well go up to our cruise level 360. 360 set once on the overhead panel, twice on the MCP, and we also have it on the FMC. We can push out at events, N1 VNAV speeds. There we are. We are well and truly on our way. Lovely jubbly. Oh, someone's knocking on the door. Alpaca colleague. Roger Mark. I'll be at 3.6. Perfect. Our colleague is going to be up at 3.80. Superb. What? Why am I okay, impressive. I somehow extended my speed brake. That's not going to help the climb rate. How did I do that? I've never done that before. Oh, I'm having a nightmare with the flight controls today. It's like everything's lining up to go wrong. I must have knocked the button somehow. Comment. Dominic, time to stop a descent, about an hour and 10 minutes or so. Bloodline, long time no see. Technical failure already starting between keyboard and back of chair. No, I think Ranger Nick must be from last update patch. No, it was me. I must have knocked it because I think I was just pushing the button there. So I use Shift 2 obviously to do the flyby. And 3 and 4 is my speed brake commands. 7-3 today, more now big the maintenance list is. Yeah, got a lot of things wrong. Absolutely, just testing the spoilers, that's all I was doing. Such a drag, love it Hayden. Dennis better get Jim to do the flying today, and if it goes wrong it's his fault, absolutely. Flight service specialist, I forgot to retract my landing gear until 4,000 feet, whoops. Not done that one yet. By far my favourite Alpaca livery. Yeah, really like the Boeing modified livery. It's based off there's a special edition of Ryanair aircraft. I think it's, can't remember the reg, but they have a Ryanair into a the Boeing livery here. Jordan just changed this one into the Alpaca one, and it looks really nice. Merges really well. Chad, plot twist on this live stream. Only the hydraulics will work properly. Paul Hamilton, in real life, are wheel chocks or parking brake or both used? Great question there, Paul. So on turnarounds, if we have quite a quick turnaround, we actually release the parking brake, and obviously making sure the chocks are in place prior to that. When you look at brake cooling temperatures on the table, that's based off the parking brake being released. If the parking brake is set, the brake's abilities to release heat and stored energy is diminished. So by releasing the parking brake, which is what the tables are based off, increase the ability for the brakes to cool down. Scott, have you ever had to call a Mayday in real life? No, touch wood. Live weather, yes, fun away. Live weather, just 12 hours behind live time. What are we now? 0508 Zulu in the morning. In reality, it's 17:06. I think there's a little bit of time deviation in the sim. But this is as India was 12 hours ago. Ricardo, what's the ETA on the new PC, Captain? Are you excited? I'm extremely excited. I was in fact beginning the process of getting the PC built. However, some of the members who are great experts in the field of building PCs and tech savvy guys, they just said hold on and wait for the Intel 12th generation processor to come out, get some feedback on that, because it might be worthwhile holding off to get the 12th gen processor. I mean, this will be a significant investment on the channel. It'll be, you know, top end ranging stuff. This PC has been great, and I think I'm going to be sticking with Chill Blast. You know, I have no relationship with them, but I bought a Chill Blast PC This one here, the aero called Destiny 2, nearly, well, yeah, over 4 years ago now, and it has been perfect. It has not coughed once. It's had some minor little Windows thing, but that's just Windows being Windows. But the actual PC itself is very reliable. You know, no issues whatsoever. So I believe you get the 5-year warranty with them as well. So I'll see what they have. 12 train is going to be a monster. Yes, so I've heard. So yeah, I'm not PC savvy at all, but some guy said, yeah, if you're looking to guide, I think it's imminently about to be released, so wait for the feedback. It might be the case, I was told, that it might not be as good as the 11th gen Intel chip, but everyone's saying it could be, so we'll wait. Haggard90, do you ever wonder how you would cope with a real emergency? That's a great question. You know, the amount of different scenarios you could conjure up, you know, it's huge, but we are trained how to deal with these situations. We have a robust decision-making process. We review them every 6 months in the sim. We also get memos to remind us of certain procedures. Certainly if there's something that's happened in the industry, be it my operator or another operator, they'll highlight that and get you to review the procedure as well. So I'd feel confident in dealing with some of the worst scenarios, but we're very lucky with the fact that aviation is heavily moderated, and the chances of serious problems mechanically wise going wrong is extremely slim. Let's take engine failure for example. The reliability of the CFMs on the 737 is huge. You know, they're very unlikely to fail. If you have an engine failure, it's likely to be an external force like a bird strike or something. Obviously we're all familiar with the Hudson River crash. Again, chances of those size birds going through the engines at once is extremely unlikely. In this case there were huge geese, wasn't it, or something, so yeah, even we're trained to deal with that. But yeah, I've got a competent guy next to me. You know, on the day you deal with whatever comes up your way professionally, most importantly safely, next legally, and go from there. Hi from Croatia, hope you're doing well. Ante Sutra. It's Canadian geese. I actually think they were quite large, yes. Yaroslav, Captain, got a question about the Max. What N2 do you inject fuel? So that has a BRM start process, bowed motor or something. I need to review that procedure because I've done the Max conversion training, but I've not flown a Max ever. You have to wait till the N2 increases. I think when the N2 starts increasing after the BRM process, you can inject the fuel to the aircraft. I think it's still 25% N2. I've actually got somewhere on my desktop the finalisation document, so I can answer you straight away. Yeah, bowed rotor motoring. So yeah, N2 is at 25%, or if it can't reach 25%, as soon as it starts increasing after the motoring indication blanks, you can inject fuel. But the engines start at the max with the leaps are twice as long as the CFM. Thanks for subscribing, Aldo West and AvGeek09. Rosny, which cockpit do you prefer, the NG or the Max? I've seen the Max. I think the Max is going to take some getting used to with the huge NDs and where you have the engine indications positioned. But you know, it's like anything, once you get used to it, it becomes more familiar to you, and it's not an issue. Yaroslav, thanks for the answer. What did you ask? Oh, no, you're about the N2. Sorry, sir. I thought that was someone else's name there. Eddie Mambo, hi Captain. Zebo doesn't create smooth turns at any waypoint, ends up overshooting. I need to correct the flight path. No solutions online. Try and reinstalling. What could be the problem? What version are you using, Eddie? There's been some issues recently. Master caution, fuel, low pressure. Been some issues recently with Zebo converting the code, but yeah, there's so many different type of waypoints that you can fly over in the FMC, fly over, fly by, and the way the aircraft commands it. So if you have in your case there, it's flying, ends up overshooting. So I get idea, those waypoints you're flying over, are they got to try and find out if they fly over waypoints, the aircraft won't turn until you're past it, if they're on the approach perhaps, but otherwise it should be doing nice smooth turns for you. Yusef, after seeing the graphics of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, XP11 now looks like FSX. A bit harsh, but I think for me and most people watching my channel, we're interested in seeing how an aircraft behaves pretty realistically and accurately. There's a lot of disrespect amongst XP11 and Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 users as bad as each other. I like both sims. For me, this is the one where the aircraft we still have the aircraft which handle realistically, which is important, most important to me. And for me personally, this is India with Ortho 4XP with enhanced skyscape clouds. For me, that looks pretty good. I mean, I know Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 with all the lighting and the atmospherics and stuff, it looks amazing. But for me, this looks pretty good. Eddie, already on 350.25. I'm not 100% sure then, Eddie. This version is not available publicly yet. It's very similar to 350.25. It's just a version to sort of accommodate the technical failure we're dealing with today, which will be made publicly, I believe, after the stream. Jason Dictor, when training, do you ever simulate the physical sensations of an FBO? What's that you're referring to? Generally never heard of that acronym. I'm curious if they ever do something like that, so you understand how it might feel to fly while you're shaking up a storm. FBO, Jason. Not heard of that one before. What is the hump on the fuselage? The Greek Badger. Wi-Fi. We have Wi-Fi here. Alpaca Airways in India. Or SATCOM antenna for Wi-Fi, I guess. Oh, fan blade out, Jason. Got you. I've never heard of that acronym with regards to that. When training, do you simulate the physical sensation of a fan blade out? So I'm curious if you ever do anything like that, so you can understand how it might feel to fly while you're shaking up a storm. So usually when we do the recurrent training, we look at 2 failures, and it alternates each 6 months between first officer and captain. So the one of them will be a flame out, so the engine just fails. There's no associated bang, vibration associated with that. The other one gets a severe damage, and this sort of simulates basically the engine jamming. It's a significant bang, a lot of shaking, but there isn't actually any vibration with that because basically the engine seizes and it immediately stops rotating. So we don't actually look at that during the recurrent training. I think we do on one of the 6-month recurrency training when it comes around. We look at multiple engine failure scenarios such as engine limit or surge. So that's where the flow of air through the compressor is either reversed or disrupted, and it causes it basically to belch the combustion out the front of the engine. Famously, there's that Thompson 757 taking off. That's the engine surging. Here you go, boof, boof, boof. We see that. I think we do have a fan blade detachment scenario, which I've seen in the sim, but I don't think I've ever used or witnessed there. But in those situations, the QRH checklist is the same. You recognise the failure, so if it's severe damage, separation or a fire, the memory items are the same. If it's a limit, surge or stall, which would incorporate your FBO scenario, it's the same. You disconnect the autothrottle, you reduce thrust until the vibration stops or indications are normal as well. The other one is the overheat, where actually you keep closing the thrust lever until the overheat light extinguishes, and if it doesn't, you do the fire memory items as well. Avgeek, what is this autopilot panel? This is not from a 737-800. Well, it is. This is the Honeywell MCP variant, which is available on all the NGs. It's an older autopilot, pretty much straight from the 400, I believe. And it is actually fitted some of our NGs at my operator. Even some of the newer ones, it has it retrofitted. So yeah, we've been rocking it in the Zebra mod for quite some time. Maybe I should put this as a pinned comment, guys, because a lot of people are talking about the hydraulic failure here. So hydraulic failure will commence at, let's say, I want to get the briefing done, and then we can do it then. So minus 50 nautical miles prior to top of descent. And I'll pin that because I think a lot of people are asking. Because I know a lot of people are asking, and some people have only just tuned in, so it's a fair question to ask. Scott Regiment, when is that? Let's have a look. 441 miles. So what's that? We'll do it in 400 miles. Ground speed 459. So about, let's say, 50 minutes. 50 minutes from now. Well, that does ruin the wages. Yeah, sorry, I saw people were having bets there. So yeah, I was looking at an option. I forgot to actually mention to Zebo. With the failures in the Zebo mod, it's important that you use these ones because the X-Plane ones are a different way of failing the aircraft, so this will ensure that what we want to have will happen realistically, the same way as it would do in a level D sim. I'm trying to find where it is again. Failures, there we are. Hydraulics, and we're going to have the leak system here. It'd be quite good if I'll mention this to Zebo to see if with any of these failures can we actually set a timer. So I think it would be quite exciting to have it, and we're going to do an engine failure one soon as well, guys. So and for that one I'm actually going to utilise the one here because I think that does work correctly. We'll actually say, look, we'll get to the runway, right, we'll do an hour 30-minute flight, and I'll get the engine to fail between 1 hour and between now and 1 hour, so it'll definitely happen prior to top of descent. And obviously if it happens during the climb, we're probably not going to be able to complete the flight. We'll have to look into diverting or something like that. But this one, the loss of System A, which is simulated today, it doesn't really affect the operation too much. It's actually, would I declare a pan or for an urgency situation? Probably not. I'd advise that we're dealing with a technical issue, but we don't require any additional assistance. The only thing operationally wise we're going to have to do is extend the gear manually. Half the flight spoilers don't work, and but you've got all the brakes, you've still got full use of the flaps. The big issue is if you lower the gear, it is stuck down. You cannot retract it with a loss of hydraulic system A. But as I said, we'll discuss all that later on. We're going to brief the approach, find out what runways in use at least, brief the failure, but discuss the implications of losing a hydraulic system A and go from there. Hoaxties, what's the best way to control cockpit cameras in Microsoft Flight Simulator? I can't get used to it, me neither. The X-Plane 11's ability to move around the cockpit is so much more fluid, so much more realistic, well, not realistic, so much easier to use. I think Microsoft Flight Simulator you can actually assign using Alt 1, Alt 2 the same way you can assign views on the numpad like I have, but this is just so much easier to use, so much easier. Lauren, would you still have nose wheel steering, or would we need to be tugged off the runway? Yes, we have the ability to use steering by using the alternate nose wheel steering system. So System A hydraulic pressure controls nose wheel steering in the normal position. By moving it to alternate, it uses System B pressure. So we can taxi off the runway with loss of System A. Jason Madden, how do you make your autopilot panel look like that? So make sure you have the latest versions of the Zebo mod customization. Let's try and find it. Display invariants, systems, MCP panel, Honeywell. I won't change it in flight because I don't want anything to go wrong, but there's the conventional Collins one, which you're used to, and then there's the Honeywell. Where are we overhead India? We're just southwest of Nagpur. Apologies for my lack of geographical knowledge here. We've got Hyderabad, Kanpur, Delhi, there's our destination, just on the foothills of the Himalayas. Beautiful. Do you prefer the Honeywell over the Collins MCP? I prefer the Collins. I just use the Honeywell one because it's quite cool to show people. A lot of people are like, ooh, how do I get that? And I can explain how great the Zebo mod is. Lauren, what would cause a system failure? Would we perhaps need any assistance on the ground at all to inspect for damage, potential fire? So System A failure, hydraulic system failure is again incredibly rare. What's going to cause it is a leak, most likely. A leak in the pump, one of the connections. Depending on where the leak is will depend on how much of the fluid leaks out, but a leak in the hydraulic pump I think means you'll lose all the hydraulic fluid there. I've never had one. I don't think I've seen or heard one. It's obviously, I think it's probably happened in the past as well. So yeah, a leak of some description. Probably another thing that could happen as well. Probably pop outside here. If the wheel bursts, they shouldn't be spinning like that. I think that's just the CFO mod. If I hold the brake down, I fixed it. If the tyre was to burst and shred, you have these little black sort of rubbery or plasticky bits hanging off the wheel well here, which sort of prevents the gear from going up. If it's damaged, it will stay down, but if it was to get in there somehow, if the wheel would then shred it, all the bits would flick everywhere, and there's all manner of pipes and systems in there. But yeah, bloodline leak in the pump is the most likely cause of this hydraulic system. Astrid, do you know of any situation where both hydraulic A and P systems were lost? No, I don't. And again, that is demonstrated during the type rating manual reversion. Incredibly difficult. You know, the aircraft is controllable, but you have no hydraulic power to the elevator or aileron, so you're actually physically moving the cables yourself and fighting any potential air loads yourself as well with the control column, and it does in most cases require a two-pilot effort. Important to note with the 737, if you lose both system A and B, you still have full use of the rudder. The standby hydraulic system provides full pressure to the rudder as well, and you can still pitch the aircraft using manual reversion, but you can also have electric trim. The trim is controlled electrically, so you can, it's not ideal, but you can control the attitude or pitch with electric trim if it gets that, and thrust, combination of both. But that is a serious situation, a mayday for sure as well. But there is a checklist for it. Configure the aircraft for a flat 15 landing, and it is controllable. With two people, it is controllable. Hard work, but with coordination, you can get the aircraft down for sure. Very good. John, could you use secondary effects of yaw to assist us roll in the aircraft in that situation? That would be no. There's enough of a dead. It's a bit of a dead band, but there's enough control authority to roll the aircraft as well. There's another system on the 737 called wheel to rudder interconnect trim system as well. If you lose all your hydraulics and move the flight control switches, both of them to standby rudder, and make sure the pumps are off, there's a system here called the wheel to rudder interconnect trim system. It's not in the FCON, but I remember reading about this system. And what that does, it uses one of the stall management yaw damper computers with manual reversion. When you actually add some roll into the aircraft, left or right, it'll automatically apply a little bit of rudder. So you were talking about the secondary effect of yaw is roll. The aircraft will actually put a little bit of rudder in for you to assist and help roll the aircraft. So in a way, you're actually right, John Padford. You wouldn't do it manually. You wouldn't use rudder to roll the aircraft, but the wheel to rudder interconnect trim system, wrists, or I think the acronym is for that, will assist in rolling the aircraft there. I love it. Guys, these questions are fantastic, and I really do appreciate them as well, because if some of you come up here with a corker and I'll be, oh, you know what, we better look that up together, and then I've learned something new as well, so do keep them coming in. And 94 tails. Any consequences for calling a mayday when a pam-pam would have been more appropriate? Nope. You know, a mayday is is a serious call to make. Basically, you need immediate assistance from ATC. There could be potential loss of life if with this situation here, but you can always be downgraded as well to a pan, and the same way a pan can be upgraded to a mayday as well, and you can cancel accordingly too. There's no right or wrong way of dealing with it as well. But if you make a pan or a mayday call, yeah, you need to file a report regardless there. Jota, hello. Can you link the alpaca livery for the BA 146? Okay, yes, I'll go grab that in a second. Where's my laptop? I just need to grab that on Discord. If you ever want to find the liveries for any of the aircraft I'm flying, I don't usually link them in the video description, but often throughout the entire stream it's commanded the livery for the actual aircraft I'm flying. Otherwise, if you ever want that one, I can grab the link for them. They're all in the Discord. Bad can't be asked to fly today. Yeah. Here we are. Another amazing livery made by Jamlin, who's my primary livery maker. But here is the link for the 146. Perfect. Have I spelled Delhi wrong? No, in the video description. What is it? It's D-A-L-H-I. What if I put... Don't tell me I put it wrong. Oops. I'm quite surprised no one spotted that prior to the stream to let me know. I hope it doesn't break it if I change it midstream. Well, I'm changing it now. D-E-L-H-I. And my apologies to everyone from Delhi there. Unbelievable. Why did no one warn me? It's been up, the stream was published over 24 hours ago. No one told me until now. My apologies, guys. Guys, I'm just going to have a quick toilet break. How long we got left until top of descent is? Top of descent 6:15. 45 minutes from now. We'll initiate that failure in about 35 minutes, 30 minutes time. We'll discuss that in detail, get everything set up as well. But I hope you enjoyed the stream so far. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, etc, etc as well. What a bunch of subscribers we are. Unbelievable. Cool. I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Thanks, guys. That's better. Thanks for that, guys. Hoke says, Andy FO, rocking solo checklist, please. What, you'd like the files for that? It's just basically WAV files which you can play. Cannibal, for YouTube is struggling with the stream today. 3 different devices on 2 different Wi-Fi connections are struggling with 144p. Uh-oh. License immediate revoked for spelling Dehli correctly. I've changed it now. I've changed it. You refresh, you should see the correct spelling of Dehli. Oh, I'm so sorry. Right. So we're doing quite well. I'd love to tell you where we are, but I really don't know. Just west of Nagpur. I don't know what these mountains are called, but they look very nice. Just when I jumped back in. The button to close it here. This is zoom level 15 Bing Maps. Probably not quite as clear as this. Sometimes my active sky, it's not that great at updating the weather, but it could actually be clear here. Delhi, where it dealt with that was quite nice actually. Approaching Delhi, the visibility was quite good, probably better than I could see, but as you descended you could see sort of yourself getting to look like an inversion layer, and then it was just below 10,000 feet, couldn't see anything. And yeah, it's going to be a Cat 1 ILS today in proper IMC conditions, so we actually have to have a close look at the RVR before we commit to the approach, because once that gear's down, we've lost system 8, cannot be retracted. It might make diverting to an alternate airport impossible, so you've got to be quite committed once you've got the gear down there. Hi Dave, you rock, Captain, thank you. Love your educational videos, streams and explanations are top notch. Stay well. Thank you Dave, really appreciate that. Avgate, you're flying from Stansted to Gdansk in 1 hour and 20 minutes, very nice. In real life or in your sim? Avgate09, just subbed to your second channel. Ah yes, Flying Deck Sim Gaming, yes. Now, a bit of a channel update really for you guys. Usually in the winter, things get a lot quieter for me. It would seem that I'm actually going to be, I wouldn't say as busy, always a bit quieter during the winter months, but I'm flying a lot more than I was expected to. We had my base, some people go out the base for the winter to different bases on secondments and things like that. So I've actually switched the roster around slightly, so it's likely I'm going to be working most weekends, which is a bit of a pain because I like to stream during the weekends because it gives guys more of a chance to watch content live, but I will still be, whenever I get any spare time, streaming where possible. So yeah, it's really good news in a way. I'll be flying a little bit more, need to get all refreshed on my winter ops procedures again. I've got an online course I need to complete as well, but I'm going to be flying throughout the entire winter, all the way through summer 2022, so that's really good. Dave Hagen, 8 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, I asked you a question about the N1 button on MCP. If you have time, could you re-answer it? You've been timing me, Dave. The N1 button. So the N1 button on here, I've never pushed it in my entire career. It's really a light which illuminates when using a climb mode or pitch mode or toga, or a mode which has N1 engaged, level change or VNAV in climb. You'll see the N1 light engaged. It's just when you have N1 initiated on the FMA. Oh, I'll try and be quicker than 8 minutes next time. I'm only pulling your leg, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Rock again. I'm from Canada. Excellent. Love your educational videos, streams, and explanations. Am I reading the same comment just because of time, or did you say that twice? Yeah, you retracted your original message and said it again. Fair enough. Paul Hamilton, Captain, I thought all the Alpaca fleet have been fitted with split winglets. Oh, well, some of them have. Some of them have. Chris Milne recently watched the mini air crash investigation about an Indian 737 who made 6 go-arounds. Pretty interesting. Wow, I think, Chris, I might have referenced that one as well. I think I've seen that there. They landed with not much fuel left. There's a few mistakes in that one. I think that might have been an Indian airline, not sure. Okay, Planes, hello again. Again, may I just ask you to refrain from excessive use of emojis? You know, we like to have them there, but it does block up chat there. You got fireworks going crazy in the UK right now. Yes, well, it's the day before Guy Fawkes in the UK, for those of you who are outside there, so fireworks Some people will be setting them off early. It's not the 5th today, is it? No, 4th. So yes, no doubt some people on our estate will be setting off fireworks. They were last stream. No problem, K-Play. It's fine. Just try and refrain from spamming chat, let's say. Hello from Prague. You're doing well, God answer. MH, any plans for Microsoft Flight Sim 2021? No streams planned on that platform at the moment. Next stream will be either the Dash 8 again, because I want to give away a copy of that. FlyJSim sent me one for free, so I didn't have to buy it, so I'd like to give one away to one of my lucky viewers. Dave Cruisin again, yeah, I think there's no need to say that bit multiple times. Appreciate the kind words, but I only need to do it again. Just watch out, because you'll get stamped on by a moderator. Yeah, so nothing planned on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Next stream will either be Dash 8 again, FlyJSim, because I want to do a giveaway. I did warn you. Thanks, Moen. So yeah, it's going to be the FlyJSim Dash 8 or the A340, the Tunis A340, which I have purchased. I haven't even opened it yet. Yeah, 2 seconds in the Dash 8 I think would be fun. Plus I'm still sort of familiar with the Dash 8 because I haven't flown it quite recently, and it took a lot of preparation, that stream as well, because I've got a few colleagues of mine and a friend who are ex-Flyme pilots, and I went to them with some advice with regards to how to fly that aircraft. Thanks, Stephen Moen. I know you're there in the background. Appreciate it, buddy. Moen A340. Ooh, it'll be Dash 8. I think Dash 8, Zibo, A340. I think Zibo will do another kind of just normal stream, and then next one after that will be the engine failure one I'd like to plan. Also, I will be streaming on... What day is this? A week today, I think it is. Yes, the 11th of November, Polish VATSIM are online for 24 hours, and I said if I was free, which I should be, that I'd actually stream in Poland that day, so I might do a 2-sector day in Poland, potentially the Zibo mod as well. Don't forget, members, next week, not this weekend, coming the following weekend on the 13th, 14th, for some MOGF, and another Alpaca GT race as well, fun race. Dash is so good. Yeah, the Dash is really good, and I think they're going to be addressing some of the FPS issues as well in the future. IPW, Mongbum here. When are you engaging the hydraulic system failure? Great channel. Thank you very much, PW. In about 20 minutes or so. Now, what I might do, I have just been thinking about this, I might initiate the failure, and then once we've completed the checklist, decide a plan of action, instead of doing it just prior to top of descent, because I don't want to be descending, getting busy, just from a sort of viewer point of view. Obviously in reality you have to deal with it whenever it comes, but just to sort of keep the content educational. You know, if I'm starting doing this checklist during the descent, there's going to be a lot going on. It's going to take away from that. So what I might do is activate it a bit sooner. So 6:16, we're about half an hour from top of descent. Change of plan. I might initiate this in about 50 miles time or so. In that case I'll get rid of the pinned comments. That way I can talk about the issue in length. You can ask any questions. I can attempt to answer them. And then once we've decided and we're going to return, continue, divert, we can execute that plan and go from there. Yes, that's AvGeek09. Sorry, I was trying to remember. 11th of November is to celebrate the Polish Independence Day, and I think it's also VATSIM Poland's, yeah, there you go, Domino Mosinas, 20th year anniversary as well. So yeah, I'm going to do, I think, a 2-sector domestic flight in Poland on that day in the mod. So we'll look at that. I've got all the scenery from the developer for a lot of the Polish airports, so we'll find something to do there. Very cool. Mickey Boo flew over you on Saturday whilst you're streaming in the Dash 8 across the pond. That event was great. Yeah, I'd love to have taken part. Mike Booth the week before, I thought I was actually going to be flying that day, but unfortunately it changed to a standby. So I missed the slots for Cross the Pond. I think if I really went for it, I could have probably organised a slot. But the problem is,
50,
being on standby,
40,
streaming such
30,
a flight is quite exhausting,
20,
and I want to do that
10.
and then potentially get called for work. Thank you, Tony DeRollo, for the $5 US, buddy.
Tampa-based alpacas don't have hydraulic failures. Winking face.
Thank you, Tony, very much. My Alpaca Airways US-based engineer. That's very kind of you, Tony. Hope you're doing well, buddy. And in Tampa, the Alpaca Airways based in Tampa don't have hydraulic issues. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, it's we'd see we are waiting for this soon-to-come failure. It's going, well, I'll have to activate it manually, but it will be coming very soon. Brandon, I'm still waiting for you to get back to the city skyline you started in the westbound across the pond 6 months ago. I think I don't have that anymore. With city skylines, I get into these sort of periods where I really want to play it, and then I get annoyed by things like the indefinite number of trash trucks which are taking away the trash. I don't know if they've fixed that there, but I still want to plan a little mini series on Flight Deck Sim Gaming where we take a city from 0 to 100,000, a population of 100,000, because that will probably take 20 hours. I could do that over a series of maybe 6-7 streams or so. And you guys can all contribute. You can name certain elements or towns and streets, and it could be quite cool. Maybe something from Szczecin on the 11th of November. Yeah, maybe. I've got all the airports there. Wrocław. Maybe I do Wrocław to Warsaw, Warsaw to Szczecin or something. One of my earliest ever live streams was, I think, the Polish Independence Day Phantom event. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago now. Oh, Ash, hi. Okay, guys, just opened up Delhi approach. Hope to see you, the pilots will be soon. Very cool, Ash. Thank you. I don't know if you're still here listening, but I will be simulating a minor technical issue. Minor, quite a serious one, a loss of a hydraulic system, but it shouldn't require any additional, you know, with this particular failure, you know, we can deal with it in a hold. If it happened on the approach, you want to go in a hold really, but prior to that we'll have the checklist complete. All we need to do is get the gear down manually, so you won't be extending the gear on final. We want to do that prior to the approach, so maybe I just need a delayed heading, but that's it. Andrea, standby means that you were supposed to fly according to your roster. So I was eventually meant to fly. That was an actual rostered flight. A standby essentially means you have to, you're not flying, but you have to be in a position, if they call you, to be at minimum available at the airport within 1 hour's notice. Usually you get a lot more notice. So for example, let's imagine I have a late standby from 10 AM to 10 PM. I might get a call at 1 PM because the captain called in sick. You know, you'll say, right, you're actually operating the 4 o'clock to Alicante. Right, that's in 3 hours time. Perfect, I can finish my lunch. Sometimes, you know, someone's car's broken down or something like that. They're on the way to the airport. You can get called at quite short notice. So you have to just, as part of your agreement to standby, be there within 1 hour. So if they call you and they need you there straight away, you've got to be there within an hour. And that's not an issue. When I'm on standby, my flight bag's pretty much there all the time. My work iPad is always fully charged. Just put the work iPad in, get changed, and I'll get some food on the way, and then into the airport.
Minimums, approaching minimums.
I think, Ralph, that's your membership. I don't know if you're a new member. I don't know why it's not popped up in chat. Yes, Ralph, I think that's just your renewal coming in. Thank you for your continued support, Ralph, as a member. Appreciate it, buddy, and hope you're doing well. Scott, to be honest, I think in future you should let the failure happen quick and fast, voicing it in a VOHS. You could then debrief it after. Well, this is the only way to get this failure to active is to activate it manually. There's no timer with the Zebo mod based failures, but I promise you the next failure one will look at an engine failure, and that could potentially happen at any time during the takeoff roll, or do an RTO in that case, in the climb, in the cruise, in the descent. So yeah, that will be an instantaneous, right, let's look at the weather, guys, let's decide what we're going to do. John, is there a stricter requirement for what you need to call in sick as a pilot? For example, if a bad cold stops you from sleeping? Yes, John. So you know, it's your body. Only you can decide whether you feel fit to fly, and there would be certain illnesses or problems that probably wouldn't affect you your normal job, but would affect you from flying. So, for example, the common cold. In most cases, you can fly with a cold, but if you're unable to unblock your ears, flying with a cold can be very, very dangerous. And I mean that really. I've got a friend who works for an Airbus low-cost carrier, and he decided to fly with a cold, and he actually ended up perforating his eardrum because he couldn't clear it, and they had to return back. I remember speaking to him about it. It was a stupid mistake, did it, and it was agonising for him. So yeah, it's pretty serious. And yeah, you know, if you hold your nose and blow, you should be able to clear your nose. You can't, don't go flying. It's as simple as that. And I mean that as passengers as well. It's just not worth it. So yeah, it's cold. The common cold is one of them. Any sickness, bellyache, things like that. You know, again, you judge it yourself. I've been working. Oh, guys, by the way, this week is 10 years. This week I started my type rating. There you go. 10 years ago this week I started my type rating at my operator. I thought that was a fun fact. So I went to actually go see a friend of mine today who I used to live with as well. And I just went, wow, yeah, it was 10 years ago I started. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know where the time's gone. I mean, the channel's nearly 5 years old. 5 years old in January. Anyway, asked because, excuse my boss accepts his death. Brilliant. Very good. Lots of people coming in from India as well. Hello, Darshan Rajput. Hope you're doing well. Asad, you were born in Hyderabad. Very cool. Addy, you sound so young. How is young? How is that possible? I'm in my early 30s. My sound hasn't changed. I get a lot of people comment on my videos sometimes. She said, "You can't be a 737 pilot. You sound like a child." Yes. There's not much I could do to control how I speak, but yeah, thanks, I suppose. Right, guys, would you like to look at a hydraulic failure or system A? Let me just see if I can get any weather for New Delhi. We're a little bit outside the range yet, so. But no, I think we'll do this now, and then once we've decided what we're going to do,
40,
we can initiate
30,
a plan of action.
20,
thank you very much, Eddie Mambo. I'm not sure what that currency is, but it's very kind of you, sir.
Are the maintenance engineers going to have a coffee with the boss after the failure? Bomb, perhaps?
Bomb? What's that? Something BOM? I don't know what that reference is either, Eddie. Everyone's coming in with the lovely acronyms all the time. Thank you very much, Eddie, for your donation there. Yes, maybe we'll have to call the engineers in as well to discuss what happened with the failure there, but we'll have a look at that very shortly. Get your failures in chat, everyone. That's a new one, Dealey. Thank you very much. Darshan, happy Diwali at Festival Light. Happy Diwali to everyone here, especially my friends from India there. Assuming autopilot doesn't function with hydraulic failure, you have two autopilots. Command A will no longer be available. If it fails it, we'll have Command B. Anyway, let's do it. Thanks for getting the weather, actually. 1,000 meters RVR. Bloody wonderful. Let's do it. Music off for now as well. So, this process takes about 2 minutes, but leak fluid system A leaking. So, obviously, you wouldn't have this page open in normal flights, but you can see now the hydraulic A quantity is decreasing. So you'd be sat here in the cruise, you wouldn't know this is happening. The first indication that you might realise something is wrong is a master caution, hydraulics, low pressure, or in the case here with the autopilot A engaged, the autopilot will disconnect because it requires hydraulic power from A to power the Command A autopilot there. Darshan, bye, it's 11:30 PM, good day. Dominic, reveal your identity. Very good. So, yes, get all your master cautions in chat. That's what I should do. Master caution in ops. Love it. Right, so yeah, you'd be sat here, excuse my language, you'd be sat here chatting. I tried to say sat and chat at the same time. You'd be sat here chatting to your colleague, completely unbeknownst that the hydraulic system was leaking, talking about, in this case, the Festival Light most unlikely. Never know when anything is going to go wrong. God, I've got to stop. Unbelievable. Oh, my friend's going to love that. Nice use of the emoji there, Matt. Yeah, you'd just be sat here waiting for anything like this to happen. You never know when it could be happening. And it should have happened by now. I'm guessing it's still... look! Master caution, flight controls, autopilot is disconnected. Right.
Minimums.
What's the chances? I think I'm going to turn that all off there. Autopilot disconnect, and we just had Andy Holman join as a member. Welcome aboard, buddy. Glad you enjoyed the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. Enjoy using the custom modes in chat as well. So first things first, most important thing, aviate. Right, autopilot's disconnected. So let's try and re-engage the autopilot. Command A. Oh no! Command A is not working. Good job, we've got 2 autopilots. Command B. Command aviate. Always tick the box. Alright, we're flying the aeroplane first. Navigate. We're level 360 en route to our waypoint. At this point, pilot flying would state malfunction, okay, to try and work out what's gone on. So, pilot monitoring, Jim in this case. Right then, Captain, got master caution hydraulics. We have low pressure, elect 2. Low pressure engine 1, we have an overheat, that would suggest there's no hydraulic fluid, and we also have master caution flight controls, field differential pressure, and low pressure flight control. A competent and a good crew would recognise that as an issue with the hydraulic system. Bring up the MFD system. Quantity is dropping off, and there is 0 hydraulic pressure. Okay, with that, we know we've lost hydraulic system A. So in this case, pilot flying would call for the appropriate checklist, okay? So QRH, loss of system A, non-normal checklist, and the pilot monitoring would also take the radios at this stage. Well look at that. I have a QRH today and it just happens to have the page that we need. What's the chances of that? So, loss of system A, QRH. There we go, alright? So this is read by pilot monitoring, and he completes any actions here as well associated with this checklist. So we can also bring that up here. So loss of system A checklist, the airplane's flying okay. We always verify we have the correct lights, and we always read the condition statement. So the condition is hydraulic system A pressure is low. We verified that on the MFD, and we do have flight control, low pressure A, and the 2 low pressures lights associated with the hydraulic switch as well. So first thing we're going to do, system A flight control switch confirm standby rudder. So whenever you see a confirm command on the QRH, that means that the pilot flying has to verify before moving that switch that the correct switch is selected. So it's very important stuff like engine start levers, in this case flight control switch here, because if you go for the wrong switch and do B, you're going to lose all hydraulic normal pressure A and B to your flight controls, which is pretty serious. So system A flight control switch confirm standby rudder, where you're going to get master caution low pressure and then standby rudder on, and that will also illuminate the master caution and flight control switch. So moving this switch to standby rudder, what this does, it activates a standby electric motor driven pump, and it will shut off the system A hydraulic pressure to the ailerons, the elevator, that's it. I think the reverser as well, but it basically has now activated the standby hydraulic system to power the rudder, and also the reverser for engine number 1, so that's what moving that switch does. System A hydraulic pump switches, we can now move both these pumps to off. Check the non-normal configuration landing distance tables in the performance in flight QRH chapter or other approved source. So step 3 here is a bit out of place actually. At this stage you'll actually have decided where you would be going, because you want to be checking the landing performance of where we are. So we know the weather in Delhi isn't that great. I'd actually be probably considering diverting if this was in reality an issue with the RVR, but looking at the worst case RVR, it's 1,000 meters. It's okay for a Cat 1 ILS. I wouldn't be too comfortable committing to that in real life, but you would consider diverting perhaps with it approaching Cat 1 limits, because you're no longer able to fly Cat 3. So just as a demonstration, I wanted to show you here, QRH again. Close both of them here. Here is the OPT performance. Now I don't have Delhi as an airport, but I have just chosen Gatwick. Sort of similar conditions and weather to Delhi. So worst case 5 knot tailwind, 25 degrees. Our landing weight today will be about 63 tons, and you'll see on the non-normal checklist I've selected loss of system A. So just to show you, order break 3, we can still stop in 2,000 meters. There isn't much impact you're stopping distance with loss of control, loss of System A hydraulics there. The runway in Delhi, 4,500 meters, so we could still easily use half of the runway in Delhi today. So we'll imagine, for the sakes of today, that we've completed that checklist or satisfied the performance for Delhi. So we'll set order brake 3 now. So step 3 of the QRH is complete. Step 4, nose wheel steering switch to alternate. That's because normal nose wheel steering is controlled by System A. By moving it to the alternate system, it uses System B pressure. That means we can taxi after landing. And it then says step 5, plan for a manual gear extension. Okay, so we can't extend the gear using the normal system. We put the gear down, it's not going to extend because we have no System A pressure. It uses System A pressure and a combination of gravity and air loads. Well, we can't do that anymore. So plan for a manual gear extension, alright? Note, when the gear has been lowered manually, it cannot be retracted. The drag penalty with gear extended may make it impossible to reach an alternate field. So clean, we're burning conservatively about 2.4 tons an hour. With the gear down in the hold, it's about an extra ton. You're talking 3.5 tons an hour being burnt there. Dasha, why are you ignoring me? It's because I have a loss of System A hydraulic pressure and I'm dealing with a checklist. I'll get a chance to have a look at any questions and chat throughout the entire stream there. Captain, the passenger seat on your plane is in bad condition. Okay. Why are you made fun of me? I haven't. Unbelievable. Keep it calm in chat. Keep it calm, Dasha. We'll have a chance to interact. I think a lot of people are quite interested in seeing this checklist here. So, next page is a list of inoperative items. So here is what no longer works, okay? Autopilot A is inoperative, but autopilot B is available. It's engaged. Half the flight spoilers on each wing are not working. Raw rate and speed brake effectives may be reduced. Okay, this is unfortunately not modelled in the Zebo mod. More limitation with XP11. Zebo's explained with XP12 we'll actually be able to model this. It's more of a complex hydraulic modelling system with XP12 coming. Normal landing gear extension retraction is inoperative, but manual gear extension is needed. Ground spoilers are inoperative, so we'll still extend the speed brake after landing, but just half the flight spoilers will come up. The ground spoilers will not come up. Engine 1 thrust reverse and normal hydraulic pressure is inoperative. It will still deploy and retract, but at a lot slower rate. Unfortunately, again, this is not modelled or cannot be modelled in XP11. It will be available in XP12. So when I do select reversers, they will both deploy at the normal speed there. Next, nose wheel steering is inoperative, alternate nose wheel steering is complete. And that is the checklist complete, except deferred items, which is basically when you have a checklist where there's an alternate step with the normal checklist. So in this case, it's the manual gear extension, which... Would it be a good time to do the manual gear extension? Thanks, Tim. Would this be a good time to do the manual gear extension? No, absolutely not. So we need to incorporate this into our normal profile and procedure. Now, my operator, we typically configure the gear at 4 or 5 miles. Ain't going to work. All right, 5 miles. This whole process of extending the gear manually takes about a minute. So where would be a good time to do this? You know, delayed vectors, perhaps a hold, somewhere you ideally want to get the gear down using the manual gear extension system prior to getting on final approach. So, you know, you liaise with ATC, downwind would be the perfect time to get that done. And then after that, we have just a normal landing checklist. And that is it, guys. So, loss of System A. The actual control of the aircraft is not affected. The elevator and aileron uses both System A and B pressure to control the aircraft. The rudder also uses System A and B, but also the standby rudder, standby hydraulic to control the rudder as well. So actual controllability is not an issue. Landing performance only ever so slightly worse. We have no ground spoilers, but we still have reverser thrust available. Would I declare a pan or a mayday? Probably not for this. I don't require any additional assistance apart from an extended downwind. I would advise ATC we're having a technical issue. Also, because we've got a hydraulic leak, I'd probably want to have the runway inspected after landing, because I might have just leaked out the rest of my hydraulic fluid onto the runway, and that's not something that other aircraft want to fly through. So that's it. All pretty much it. It's not that eventful, loss of System A. Loss of System B, which I will do again in a future stream, a little bit more to do. Okay, we've got to get the flaps out using the standby hydraulic system and the electric motor for the trailing edge flaps, so landing performance is affected. Hope you found it interesting. It's not quite done yet. We'll do the manual gear extension, but we'll just continue the flight now without System A. Moody, what if you lose System B now? Again, that's a serious situation now. We will have to revolt a manual reversion to control the elevator and aileron. What a Mayday situation. I think it's sort of modelled with the Zero mod. I'll look into that for a potential stream in the future, but the physical effort required on a desktop simulator is not simulated at all, but it would be very difficult to control in reality there. Abbas, do you need to contact your company with this issue? Yes, I would try and get hold of the company using handling frequency, advise them of the issue as well. You'd be AOG obviously after you've landed, so this would need to be fixed as well. Jason, when a leak occurs, where does it typically occur? In the reservoirs or in the system somewhere else? So typically in the pump, Jason. They're incredibly rare, any leak, but I think pumps in the past have been where there has leaked all connections. Not in the reservoir, unless there's a hole in there or something, but the reservoir is all located in the wheel well. There we go. So we're holding on the checklist. We still need to complete the deferred descent checklist, but that again is based on whether you set up for your approach there as well. So it is worthwhile thinking about your plan. Oh, hold on, ATC's here. It's worthwhile thinking about now where we're going to go. I'll just get hold of ATC. He's actually asked me to check in about 3 minutes ago. I missed that. Radar, good evening, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Maintaining flight level 360 to Bavox. Sorry I missed your ding there.
Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, sir, no issues, sir. Rate identified. You have to the destination, Delhi via Bavox 5 Bravo. Arrival for runway 28 ILS Zulu.
Cleared to Delhi on the Bavox 5 Bravo for runway 28 ILS Zulu, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So can someone bring up the weather in Delhi again? So let's have a little look at that RVR, because whenever we deal with a problem like this, we would run a decision-making process to essentially decide, are we going to continue, divert, or return to our destination? And it's a process which involves gathering information, stuff like weather, ATC, you can get information from them as well. So it's quite important that we actually have a look at the weather here in Delhi, because with one of the autopilots inoperative now, we can't complete an auto land, so we are off, of course, 900 meters. Unbelievable. So that's the visibility. The RVR though is 1400 meters. So if looking at that, I'd be seriously considering getting weather for an alternate airport. For the purpose of this stream today, I'm going to continue to destination. It is fine for a Cat 1 ILS, but it's quite tight. If the RVR was forecast to be less than 1,000 meters, I'd be concerned. But the actual RVR is okay. 1400. We need 550 for this approach. The Cat 1 ILS. I had a look at it earlier. So it's fine. There's no approach band, but it's pretty tight. Pretty tight there for visibility. But in reality, it's put me in a sticky situation. I'd probably consider diverting to an alternate airfield. Another thing that would go into your decision-making process is, where are you flying? You know, if we're flying back to a home airport or somewhere that's not a base, and you can get hold of the company, maybe it would be more preferential to divert somewhere which is a base where they have the spare parts. But ideally, we'd like to get to our planned destination to get our passengers dropped off. That's the key thing. Airlines have a lot of flexibility, the ability to fly in parts, you know, on business jets and stuff like that. But my operator is very flexible with that, and we're very much like, you know, if you can get to your destination, do it. But if you have to divert, you have to divert, and that's why we discuss this using a decision-making process.
Alpaca 5 Mike Foxtrot,
That's what to do.
Alpaca 5 Mike Foxtrot, a decent flight.
Adelaide had a flight diverted to Stansted for asymmetrical flap issue on 73. Captain, that's a problem with the wings, hence diversion. Had a few passengers very worried.
Yeah. 5 Foxtrot, I started descent, sir.
So it's probably in that case Stansted was a base for the airline, and it was preferential to go there. Again, there's no right or wrong way of dealing with it. It's trying to find what's best for the situation, which is why I use that decision-making process. But as ATC has come on for Delhi, I'm going to carry on here. I think we'd be fine. We'll be fine, but I wouldn't be comfortable doing that, because once that gear's down, and if you then have to divert with the gear down, your fuel predictions are all off in the FMC there. What would you say when you check the recall? Very good question. So yeah, you just refresh it, make sure that the recall items have been checked and there's nothing new that you could potentially have missed. So that's it. Anyway, I'm now going to start setting up for the approach here because we've been dealing with that checklist. We're running a little bit late with our approach briefing. So we're now flying into Delhi, Victor India Delta Papa. Arrive. It's going to be the VOHS 5 Bravo now for ILS 28. Initial approach. So I actually won't fly that one because that I think is based off flying directly to the VOR. We're doing the RNAV transition via these points, so that is not actually applicable. So we just want the final approach for ILS 28. And I think that's the middle runway here. Oh, it's going to be fun taxiing here. Unfamiliar airport and low visibility. Look at that. Huge airport. ILS 28 then, middle runway. Okay, so let's hand over control to Jim. We'd have the QRH in this case because we've not finished the checklist. It'll be on the glare shield on the top here open, reminding us that we've not completed the checklist. And pilot flight would still set up the approaches as usual. So go here to charts, get our operational flight plan. 250, below 100, execute forecast. Here's our descent wind, 310, 200, and 100, 268 to 78, strong winds from the west today. 200 is 272 at 43, and 100, 299 at 9. So I'll execute that. We actually do need to change the approach in the FMC here, so it's now the VOHS 5 Bravo ILS 28. Execute. Hasn't changed my top of descent by much. So coming from the south. So starting at VOHS. So we just need to put Sergo to the top, so we're already actually on the arrival. Execute. We're going to be routing to Saplo. Saplo 15,000 feet or above, or 150 above. Then we're going to Delta Papa 505. Got to be below 110 at 230 knots. So that's actually quite a good position to initiate the manual gear extension. If you look here, this position there, and then we have probably a bit of a level segment before our next waypoint, which is at Saplo. Let me just make sure we've got this. Saplo 505. Oops, 505, not 505 minutes. When ready, descend flight level 180. Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So 180 checked. So aircraft will start descending here. Let me just double check these waypoints here. So, plan. Delta Papa 505, Delta Papa 505 to Fox Sierra 711. There it is. 3,000 feet, max 190. So we're going to be quite slow at that point, probably at flap 1. So if we go here and step through, this is a perfect point here. Now you'd advise ATC that you're dealing with an issue. I might advise approach later, but it shouldn't affect us in any way. We don't. You know, we can plan the manual gear extension accordingly. We've got a nice downwind segment. We can actually say, look, so ATC, we can get the gear down here. That's fine. If it's really busy, you might have to enter a hold. Again, there's no right or wrong way of doing it. I'd ideally want the gear down prior to flying or the approach or turning final. So we've got to be below 505 at 110 here. So I think we'll have a bit of a level segment for a short while. All the way to Foxtrot Sierra 711, max 190, 3,000 feet or above, and that's actually not coded what we do next, but just look at that, it's directly south of the centre fix, so that's perfect for us. So we'll go to the runway point, create our fix rings. So it'll be a 5-mile configuration point today for flap 15. The gear will already be down, remember, because remember, it's IMC down there. 10 for situation awareness, and yeah, we can put a top of descent ring in anyway, even though we're approaching it, so that's going to be 108. Look at that, fixed rings bang on top of descent. Frequencies are 110.3 for the ILS. 0.3. The missed approach is based off the Delhi VOHS 16.1.
Sir,
16.1. Course is 284. 284. And I'll get the minimum set. I'll just have a little catch up on chaps. So
Alpaca 5 Mike Foxtrot, sir, current descent flight level 160.
Frequencies, courses, and just the minimums. So RVR 550. So we have the required visibility for the approach. The RVR was 1500 meters. It's tighter than I'd be comfortable with, but it is legal. It's completely fine. We want to keep it close on that, because if it was to start dropping off very quickly, you'd want to be going elsewhere. You know, we get the weather for luck now. Our other airfield there. Minimums 1006. So 1006. Cloud base on an ILS is
50,
not controlling
40,
approach bands.
30, 20, 10.
Thank you, Runadu.
Hi Captain, thank you for all your time to share all your knowledge. Do you know if Zibo is going to be developed this beauty aircraft also for XP12?
I can confirm, Runadu, Zibo will be very much... descent flight level 80, confirm Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa.
Flight level 180, sir.
Leaving now, flight level 180, Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa. That's where we were going. I can confirm, Runadu, Zibo mod will be continuing and will be fully compatible and developed with X-Plane 12. Thank you very much, Runadu, for your €5. That's very kind. Right, frequencies, courses, minimums. Let's have a little catch up here on chat, because I was busy there. John M. found a major problem with Zibo mod. Do you anyone know how to log it with Zibo? Make a post on the forum, John M, the XP11 forum. Should you mention your failure to VAT some ATC? Good question there, Dehli. So, in this situation, in reality, yes, I think I'll see how they'll cater for it, because do I need any additional assistance from ATC? I really don't. It depends how busy. If it was super busy, I'd say, look, can we just be off the approach here for a second to get the gear down? Otherwise, the way this approach is we've got a nice straight line, a nice straight long base leg to get the gear down manually. So in reality, I'd mention it because I'd want the runway inspected after landing, something obviously a VATSIM controller can't do. So I'll have a think about it for the sake of simulation purposes. In real life, yes, no need on VATSIM. Bloodline, autoland requires both autopilots active, but Command A is unavailable because of hydraulic problem. Yeah, absolutely, Bloodline. You explain that to someone in chat. Thanks for that. Has a failure already started? It has. It is active. Perfect. In Delhi, it is full of crackers. Yes, celebrating the Festival of Light this evening. I've been hearing all about it today. Superb, superb. So, we started our descent. Top descent's in chat. VNAV's managing that. Frequencies, courses, minimums. We've discussed how we're going to probably get vectors coming in directly from the south. 12-mile final approach fix is quite close to the runway. Look, just at 4.3 DME at 2,000 feet. Let's see if that's coded in. So we have, that's very low, 2,600. So we'll put that as an at or above. 2140. There's the final approach fix there. Foxtrot India 28. Down to the minimums which we've set. 1,006.
Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa, sir, speed 230 knots.
Speed 230 knots, Alpaca 3-2 Delta Papa. So let's update that in VNAV. We might have to help VNAV because the profile's based off 284 knots. So let's execute that and see what's done to our profile. So yeah, 2,000 feet high now. So what I'm going to do is go level change, because we've got to comply with the speed restriction here and bring the speed back to 230. That is going to put me high, so I'll also use speed brake. And we'll keep that out until the speed's back at 230 and on profile. That's as much as we can do at the moment. So, one of the things that'd be happening right now, which isn't unfortunately simulated, you'll see, I don't know what that was, you'll see that all the flight spoilers are up. Only half of these flight spoilers would be up alternating, because half of them are not working, because there's 8 spoilers, 4 controlled by System A, 4 controlled by System B. So it's just a limitation in X-Plane 11. But it will be, Zibo advised me, he'll be able to model that in X-Plane 12. Cool. ILS, brief the FAF. If I have to go around, the procedure will be slightly different. Go around flat 15, set ground for us. Positive rate of climb. I can't get the gear up. The gear will be staying down. We'll be climbing straight ahead to 2,600 feet. and then crossing 5 miles from Delta Papa November, which is on standby, right turn, heading 345 to 316 from Delta Papa November, which is here, and we're heading towards the sampler VOR, holding at flight level 70. So the initial level is 70 for the missed approach. So, we briefed the approach. That sound was a message from the controller, yeah. It's just the approach controller from the previous one saying, we're getting a tower controller to pop in shortly for your stream. Oh, that's very kind, thank you. That was just the previous controller saying he's getting ATC. Ah, look outside. I think the weather is actually pretty accurate. Look at that haze and mist. That is looking pretty spot on with regards to what weather we can expect later on. Speed 220 knots, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So that's a very slow speed very early on. We'll again manage that here. Oh, why is that commanding? That's strange. No, yeah, look at it, it's super high. So, we briefed the approach. What we're going to do to this approach performance we've already completed. Runway 28 then. I'm going to make the first left here at Lima, hopefully. There's no change to any of the profiles with this non-normal situation. Normal landing flap, gears down, normal landing technique. Nothing, honestly, from an operational point of view or anything you'll notice from a handling perspective. It would be different as it would be through normal procedures. So that's it. Descent briefing's complete. We've completed the loss of System A. Unfortunately, Jim is, or Andy's now fired because we need to complete a different checklist now, loss of System A checklist. So, my operator, this is read by pilot monitoring, and this is all completed by pilot monitoring as well. So he'd complete the response too. So pressurization, verify land out is set. So we've got 800 feet for Delhi. Anti-ice is currently off. It'll be okay. It's just a bit of haze down there. Approach proof of fuel discussed, and IS out bugs are not checked, so we just need to do all that anyway. So we're going to burn about 400 kilos, maybe a bit more with the gear, but we just use 400. It'll be a heavier weight. It'll be conservative. Look at that, landing weight 63 tons, which is exactly what I used for the loss of System 8 landing performance. Flat 30, order brake 3, as we've calculated. So approach brief and fuel discussed, IS out bugs are now checked and set. The deferred descent checklist is complete. Next is the approach checklist and a manual gear extension checklist.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Thank you very much, KL24, for the €2. Very kind of you. He says...
Hi, what happens if a gear doesn't lock consequently?
Thank you very much, KL74. Very good question. Now, it's unlikely that the gear won't lock because using the manual gear extension, we're still using a combination of gravity and air loads to lower the gear. Essentially, all we're doing is releasing the up lock, which is holding the gear in place. The hydraulics can also hold the gear in place, but when you move the gear to off, it depressurizes.
Alpha 32 Delta Papa Second, actively approach on 126.350.
126350, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Thanks for the ATC, sir. Bye.
13 via Papa, November, Charlie Whiskey 2 and Link 1.
Taxi dispatch 13, Alpha 13 via Papa, November, Charlie Whiskey 2 and Link 1, Lufthansa 802. I hope I find the place, like my friend.
Yes, 802. If you don't, just let me know. I'll tell you what's the nearest stand to park.
I love that.
Okay, will do.
Delhi approach. Very good evening, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Descending flight level 180 inbound to Saplo for the Bavox 5 Bravo 28.
Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, very welcome back, and
same guy.
You can descend flight level 80 and follow the Bavox 5 Bravo right.
Descend flight level 80 Bavox 5 Bravo, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. You travelled very quickly.
Yes, sir. Vistara 75 Foxtrot, descend 3,000 feet on QNH.
He sounds very zen, this guy, I love it. So 80 is checked. Still have no hydraulic fluid. That's not going to reappear, to be fair. Stealth YouTube, do you prefer A320 or 737? Outrageous question. There we are, inbound Saplo. We'll put the belts on now. We're almost back on profile for 220 knots. About 15 minutes to land. It's hot V. Oh, yeah, we're not on V now. I was going to say it's holding the speed really nicely, but we're on level change. Oh, what's the transition level here? He said 8-0, didn't he? Let me just grab the 80s. So, ILS approach, landing runway 28, runway 20 degrees, surface winds 0 knots, visibility 1,900 meters. Okay, that's fine. Temperature 20, dew point 18, QNH 1015. Transition level 060. There we go. So I guess it doesn't have that in the database. So we go to the descent page. Forecast, change that to 80, and that will get rid of the amber standard light on the PFD. So coming up to 110, I should think this will be a bit of a level segment for us. We still have 60 track miles, so ideally be at 18,000 feet, and we're at 15,000, but that's because of that profile. So once we reach this 110 restriction, it'll be a good time to get the gear down manually.
030.
So there's our profile, slow to speed brake.
Right heading
For you now.
030 with 5 Foxtrot.
747 A380, 747. Did you notice that you have 737 subscribers of now? Oh, pretty cool.
And Omega 5 Mike Foxtrot, descend to 4,000 feet on QNH 1015.
To 4,000 feet on 1015 Alpha 5 Mike Foxtrot.
So yeah, in reality, I'd advise ATC of the situation. I'd say we've lost the hydraulic system. I wouldn't call a pan or a mayday in this situation. I don't require any additional assistance. I just advise ATC. In this case, I don't need any additional track miles. The arrival, and this is completely coincidental, I didn't plan this, but the arrival is sort of catering or allowing for us to get that gear down manually prior to the approach there. Some approaches you might have to break off just by the way it's shaped or designed, get into a hold or something there as well. Fuel-wise, something we've not looked at in much detail, we would definitely have discussed and covered. We've got plenty at the moment. We've got 5.2. I did carry that little bit of additional fuel, remember, for the low visibility associated with the smog in Delhi. Our alternate, Lucknow, we require to divert, I think it's 3.1 tons. There we are. So it's quite a way away, 43 minutes. You know, if I was to divert with the gear down, having extended the gear manually, you cannot go there with 3 tons. You will run out of fuel. The fuel burns way too high as well. So one of the things that you'll do once the gear is extended manually, you'll be, if you're holding or delaying the approach there, is referencing your instantaneous fuel flow and then using that as your rate per hour. I just chose this airport for 2 reasons. It was quite far away, so it gave me a good additional amount of fuel to divert. Secondly, it was called Lucknow. So that's why I chose it. I don't know much about the airport geographically. It had a long enough runway, so that was all good. Abbott's lovely weather. Yes, I've been advised. This is the Delhi smog and the pollution associated. Someone told me a lot of it is associated with the fireworks that are going off there, but I think Delhi, from what I understand, suffers a lot from pollution. I mean, I don't know what the population of Delhi is. It's a huge city, isn't it? Right, it's the capital of India. Ash, you are the ATC controller. Roger, copied. Thank you. Push bike or Airbus. Reno, would this failure warrant a pan? No, I was just discussing. Sorry, I think I might have just said that before I read that. Ed is, are you going to fly the A340, the tailless? Yes, sir. Be Dash 8 probably next. This again, and then A340. It is in my hangar. It is there, ready to go. Tim, when you would need to tell the airport that you need the runway checked after landing, presumably they need to know early if they're going to lose a runway temporarily. Yes, Tim, I obviously in this situation I'd advise them. I would tell them, you know, is there much point telling me the VOHS sim controller? You could for absolute proper immersion, but he's not going to change how we do it. But in reality, yes, I'd say, look, we've lost the hydraulic system. I wouldn't go into much detail either. I wouldn't say I've lost system A, or they don't care. They just say, look, I've lost hydraulic system. Otherwise, the approach is completely normal. We don't require any additional assistance. And could you just inspect the runway after landing to see if we've leaked anything? I'd probably get escorted back onto stand as well, or maybe ATC would want to be have you escorted back onto stand. So, you know, in association with your leak there. So that's what I'd be requesting. The population New Delhi is about 22 million. That is absolute 35 million. I've got two figures. Both of them are huge. Wow. Right. 4812. Once we get below 10,000 feet, we'll get the gear down manually. It'll be a good time to do it. So do the post-cruise checks now, it's approaching flight level 100, so fuel, we have 4 pumps, we still have over 5 tons, which is a good amount. Lights coming on, the logo's not required to be on, angular banks 25 degrees, pressurisation 3.0 set, seatbelts on. We'll do a recall, we just need to verify we got the correct one. So master caution flight controls, standby rudder on, fuel diff pressure associated, and hydraulics, low pressure, A and B, and the overheat light is extinguished as well. The reason it overheated is the hydraulic fluid cools the electric hydraulic pump needs the fluid to keep cool. So there we are. So perfect time now to get the gear down manually. Okay, so the way this works in the Zebra model a little bit different to how it works in the real aircraft, but the functionality is still the same. It's simulating what would happen. So if we go back to our checklist, so manual gear extension, landing gear lever, verify it's off. Alright. Manual gear extension handles, pull. So we go down here. Here is the manual gear extensions. Lift that up. With that door open, it does prevent the gear from being retracted in normal operation. And how it works is there's 3 red levers here, and they're all attached to 3 fin cables. Here it's just like a fixed stick, and they'd each one at a time be pulled. There's no order in which it has to be done. You don't have to do you do them one at a time, but you don't have to wait between each one. You just do each one at a time until the gear is indicated down. And how it works with Zebo is you pull it and it'll lower each one of the wheels independently, sort of simulating that each cable is being pulled simultaneously as well. So we'll do that shortly. We're just going to level it off here. Just going to request further descent.
Flying Mike Foxtrot, turn right, heading 030.
Right, heading 030, Alpaca 5 Mike Foxtrot.
Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, request further descent.
Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, you can descend 3,000 feet on QNH 1015.
Descend 3,000 feet, QNH 1015, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So 3,000 feet checked, set QNH 1015, we're passing 8,000 to 3,000, standby altimeter is set, and we've got level change. So then guys, I'm actually going to revert to vertical speed, because if I stay in level change with the increase in drag, it's going to start pitching down quite quickly. So I'm going to go VS, about 1200, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pull it, and this simulates pulling each gear individually, so 3 red lights.
Thank you for flying.
There's the nose gear coming down. There's the green light. It's now pushing down. Imagine I'm pulling the leftmost cable for the left gear.
Going down to Papa, but at the end of the Papa is the November 7th. And so you search on the whole map.
Left, there's the left green gear lights, and then lastly, right main gear. So it's simulating each cable being pulled. There you go, you hear the thrust increasing with the increase in drag. And now I could use VNAV and use the speed window open for it to add thrust, but I'm just going to use vertical speed here, just to sort of place the aircraft manually onto the correct path here. Not worried about CDA in this situation. So all the gears down. What's important, guys, is the green light. It doesn't matter if we have a red light. The green light means the gear is down and locked. Okay, down and locked. And we also have the backup lights here. However, all we need to do now, look, is wait 15 seconds after the last manual gear extension handle is pulled, and then we can move the lever to down. Doesn't matter, they're already down, but it just gets rid of the red lights, because the red light simply means that the gear handle is not in the corresponding position where the gear is. So obviously the gear's down, so if we put the lever down, it'll get rid of the red lights. So landing gear levers down, and we're just holding on the deferred landing checklist, which is exactly the same as the normal checklist, and that's it. So what's the implications of the gear being down now? Well, huge. Okay, the fuel flow is going to increase considerably. Yes, we're descending very slowly here, but if we look at the fuel flow, even though we're descending right now, it was actually quite low. It's 2.3 because we're descending, but if we're level in the hold, it's going to be around 3 tons an hour, not 2.5. So if I divert now, the implications are diverting, climbing to a higher cruise level, and the speed associated with that, the fuel burn is going to be considerably higher. So you really want to be committed to your destination once you've got the gear down here. As I said today, just for the purpose of the stream, we're continuing to Delhi. I'd be a little bit with the RVR down at 1900 meters, but the forecast is for it to be 1000, and it's not fog associated with visibility associated with moisture, with the temperature dew point being the same. It's just smoke. This is pollution that's causing this, so it's pretty cool. And that's it. We're ready for the approach. Did I need to tell ATC anything? I didn't, because it's not affected my position on the approach. If it was super busy, I might have to ask for additional assistance on VATS, but in reality, yes, I'd be well informed, the controller of the situation we're dealing with. We can land, vacate normally, no issue whatsoever. And we're still complying with the speed restriction from ATC. Everyone is happy.
Winds are calm, runway 28.
Clear to land runway 28, I'll back up 5 Mike Foxtrot.
Perfect.
I'm back at 320, correction, I'm back at 32 Delta Papa, turn right heading 030.
Heading 030 degrees, out back at 32 Delta Papa. Anyone want to grab the Delhi weather just to get an update? It looks pretty polluted, smoky here, can't see the ground at all. Ugh.
This is 75 Foxtrot, roger. You can taxi.
Dehli, do they drop that slowly, or do they sort of drop out down just the normal extension speed? It's primarily gravity and air loads which brings the gear down. I am, and the pollution is all because of the crackers during Diwali. That's amazing. Oh no, the RVR's dropped off a bit at 900 meters. Well, no, that's the visibility of the RVR's 1400, so it's 3 times above the minimum required. We're fine. We're fine. But we probably won't see anything until we're quite late. There we go. Here's a flyby. Well, we're sort of in between clouds here. There's our gear down already.
And Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, turn right heading 330, clear for the approach runway 28.
Just confirm left turn 330, cleared ILS. Alpaca 32 Delta Papa.
My bad.
No problem. 330, cleared ILS 28, Zulu, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Perfect, 3,000 feet, not worried about CDA today, got a big technical problem dealing with, and we'll arm Vorlock initially. No winds, winds come pretty much calm here in Delhi, so that's realistic. This only indicates winds above a certain speed. We can 4-6 knots. Ooh, a little bit of ground's come into view. All that lovely ortho I downloaded. Localizer alive. Localizer capture. Runway heading 284 is set. Approach was 70. We just better get the deferred checklist. So deferred checklist, my operator, it's read by PM, challenge and response. So he'd actually say PM start switch is continuous, and then pilot flying would repeat the response continuous. So read a little bit differently. I overshot the localizer slightly, but it's going to come on quite nicely. And remember, the elevation here is 800 feet, so a little bit close to the ground. We're only about 2,200 feet above the ground. Oh yeah, there's a rad outlook, 2280. Are the flaps affected by hydraulic A failure in any way? No, they are not. And
if you could slow down minimum approach speed, please, thank you.
Minimum approach speed up back at 32 Delta Papa. I've not been concentrating at all. I should have at least flap 1, 180 knots really by 10 miles. I've been too busy looking at chat. There's flap 1, flap 5, speed checked. Flap 5 just prior to glide slope capture. Whoops. Gear down will help us though. With all that drag, you can notice the deceleration's much quicker as well. Oh god, I forgot to on approach. Pro here. Glide slope capture. Missed approach altitude 70. Flight level 70 set. Nightmare.
Could you just confirm that there is Dan Alpha 13 for this
Affirm Alpha 13 via Papa November Charlie.
And remember, we're going to configure at 5 miles today because we're in IMC.
Roger.
So approaching 5 miles, we just go to flap 15. Match speed, landing checklist to flaps to the third one. So we still configure start switches continuous. Recall flight controls, standby rudder on, fielded pressure, and hydraulics low pressure, electric and engine associated with system A. So that's checked. Speed brake, arm green lights, landing gear down 3 green. Uh-oh, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Landing gear down 3 green, order brake is set to 3, holding on landing flap, so flap 30, match speed. So flaps we've got 30 green lights, and waiting for our landing clearance. 1,000 feet AGL here, and I still can't see the runway, but the ground is coming into the view in the bottom left. And we're just popping out of this little cloud base. Perfect, and...
Alpaca 32 Papa winds calm, runway 28, you clear to land.
28 clear to land, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Landing lights are on, checklist complete, so... Look at that, just below the cloud base here. The RVR in the game's a little bit better, than in reality RVR looks over 5,000 metres. So, checklist complete, clear to land. Disconnect autopilot.
Right,
just get my thrust matched up. Disconnecting auto throttle.
Lima 1, right November. Continue on November.
500 continue.
400.
So freeway scenery by Avanish Sea.
300. Plus 100.
Checked.
Minimum.
Continue. We might actually get into a little bit of a haze layer here with that RVR. There we are. Looks really nice.
We'll just follow the guy in front of us for parking.
50, 40.
Yep, that's perfect.
Check.
That's for you.
Close. Hold the attitude. Oh, lovely. Speed brakes up.
Alpha 11, Alpaca 5
Alright, yeah, my thrust lever's broken. There are reversers, so remember, it's a bit unrealistic. The reversers won't deploy as quickly as that as on the engine number 1 with the loss of system A. But the ground spoilers won't have come up. That is actually modelled with the mods. The order brake's disarmed. 100 knots.
Could you confirm we have to turn right and Romeo?
80.
60.
Yeah, just missed that exit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Delhi. I didn't realise the order brake had kicked out.
On the updated chart, it's actually November.
Ladies and
now,
gentlemen,
so
welcome to
there might be
Delhi.
some differences between sceneries there.
We'll take the next high speed at Mike here. Just let it roll.
I got you.
Fantastic. There we are. So I'd bring the aircraft to a stop with this situation. You know, have the someone drive up to the rear of it, make sure we're not peeing out hydraulic fluid everywhere. But you know, it's probably all missing already. Advise ATC, and then we get an escort on to stand. We'll vacate a mic. Just want to see where ATC wants to send
Alpaca
us.
32 Delta Papa, very welcome to, and let's see if you can read back it correctly. Only the airport name, Indira Gandhi International Airport. Yep, let's see if we can read back that correctly.
Indira Gandhi International Airport.
Alright, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Very well done. You can taxi Alpha 8, correction Alpha 9, by Papa November, Charlie Whiskey 2 and Link 1.
Taxi Alpha 9 Papa November Charlie Whiskey 2 Link 1 Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. So let's have a look here. So Alpha 9. Whoa. Oh, I don't like Jeppy charts. Apron Papa November Charlie. Okay, so it's all the way down here. And Whiskey and Zulu. I know where I'm going initially, so that's fine. We'll get the aircraft cleaned up. That was an exciting one. I hope you enjoyed that there. So imagine the aircraft's been inspected. We still have no hydraulic pressure. We've got the nose wheel steering and alternate, so we can still control the aircraft using system B pressure. But you can still see, look, system hydraulic pressure is 0, quantity is 0. We can start the cleanup. So flaps up, speed brakes up, water brake to off, flight directors off. I hope you enjoyed it. Something different to the norm as well. Not going to do a failure every stream, but I think next Zebo stream we'll do a normal 2 seconds a day, and then we'll look at something else. I think it's good for me to practice as well. It's very beneficial as well, so I can pick up a few things myself. I know you guys. I'm sure you guys enjoyed watching it too. There we are. This is really nice. I've been really impressed by the freeware scenery available in India. There's a nice little flight sim community, creates some great sceneries, and look, I think they're quite active on VATSIM, so if you ever get a chance to fly in India, make sure you take it. Obviously, I think it's quite late there now, and these controllers have come on here to provide some ATC, which has been really nice, but yeah, keep an eye out for VATSIM events. I certainly will. It's a country we've not really explored much on the network, so very cool. We've had ATC for the whole departure and approach today. It's been really cool. So Alpha 9 Papa November. Oh, I do miss my operator's charts. November is this here. Let's get some parking stand charts. Oh, there's so many charts here as well. Nope, that's airport info. Let's bring it right down here to an almost stop. Parking stands, let's see what we have here. No! Not for what I'm looking for. So not that one. So we'll do the correct thing. We'll bring the aircraft to a stop because we're not sure where we are or where we are going. So we should have left on November, then Charlie. So we've got November here. I need a parking stand chart here, really. Let's have a look out here. Have we got any guys? So Charlie Whiskey 1. Ah, here we go. So Charlie Whiskey 1. That was actually our command. Then Zulu. Then Link 1. There we are. So Charlie Whiskey 1. There's Link 1. So we're going to make a left now. So I think it's all being correctly identified. Uh-oh, we've got aircraft going to make a right here. I did say Charlie Whiskey 1, then Zulu. Probably cause carnage here. So yeah, this is no fault on Navigraph, it's just Jeppesen. Jeppesen charts, sometimes by operator we use NavBlue, and the aerodrome charts are much more detailed and far clearer to understand.
See Delta Papa, I think you've turned wrong taxiway. It's okay, you can continue on Link 1 now. Next left.
Next left, sorry, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa. Ah, yeah, sorry. So he did say Link 1, yeah. Whiskey Zulu, then Link 1. I went in via November. Whoops. Charlie Whiskey 2, then Link 1. Nothing to see here. We'll go left here. We'll find a lovely stand for us. Yeah, really nicely modelled airport. Changing the topic quickly. Thing is, one of the things that my operator does as well, when you go to a large international airport like this, I'm not even looking at chat. Unbelievable. We know exactly where we're going to be. Well, not the exact stand number, but we know which terminal we're parking at. So during the briefing process, we cover the taxi and apron, so we know our routing as well, and it'll also explain in the airfield briefing, expect routing via this. Ah, God, I actually made me jump. I just splattered a ground handler. So yeah, that's my excuse. Oh no. This chat is just inundated with these emojis. Let's take. Well, I think all these stands are designed for A340s and large aircraft. I'm going to take Alpha 03. Yeah, nice. It's a nice scenery, this one. Really nice. Oops. APUs available. I see Boeing 738. Oh, we were actually assigned a stand. Alpha 09 was our stand. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I've taken one now. Oh dear. Oh, right. Okay, I'm trying to stop. I'm holding the brake. It does that sometimes. You hold the brake and it doesn't do anything. Nothing to see here. Professional as ever. Right, parking brake is set. We've got 2 blues, 1 red, engine's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. First of a time, Delhi. Amazing. There we are. 2 blues, 1 reds. I don't know if the air bridge will connect or not. See if there's a pool of hydraulic fluid coming from the wheel well. No, okay. Awesome. Alpaca 32 Delta Papa on stand. Thanks so much for the ATC both in Hyderabad and Delhi. Take care of yourself, buddy.
Alright, Alpaca 32 Delta Papa, thank you for the flight. And yep, we'll see you next time whenever you try to fly. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. That was lovely. Really nice ATC from this guy. He came on from both sectors and stuff. So yeah, it'd be great to come in here again. Right, we better do some checks here. So open this. We'll just do a transit check today. Activation lights off. That will connect my air bridge. Yeah, super cool. Oh, now that air bridge is going to come down. It seems a bit high. Be quite interesting to see. Definitely cursed flight today. It was Lauro. How cool is this air bridge? It's like lowering down like that. It's going to be a bit of a steep incline for the passengers though. Big question here. Boeing or Airbus, Rosny? Wrong channel for that. That question would be a bit exaggerated towards a bit of favour to the Boeing here. Resembles my stream on Facebook. Someone last night. Oh dear, Samuelo, what would you say the best payware aircraft plugin for XP11 is? Ooh, best payware aircraft. That's a hard one. There's so many. I genuinely. Do I have a favourite? I don't think I do. There's so many good ones, and it's great to see so many developers supporting the sim because it's a really good sim. Dehli builds aircraft are my favourite. The FlyJ Sim Dash 8 we flew, I like their 737 and 727 as well. 737 needs a little bit of tidying up with the pitch, but I think hopefully they'll be working on that at some point in the future. What else have we flown? We fly everything in, and all the aircraft I choose to fly are of a high quality. Alpha 09 was our stand. Oh, I missed that bit. I'm so busy getting lost. Excessive use of the get lost emoji in chat today. Oh dear, oh dear. What would you say was the bit? Oh yeah, someone asked that one already. Polly, it's very interesting. Thank you. You're most welcome. I'd like to see you sweat a bit more next time. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, it wasn't too difficult, this one. I wanted something that's not too small a thing, but not too difficult a thing to deal with on the first one. So yeah, an engine failure, let's say, that would be a bit more to think about. Must be a lot of crackers causing all that. Yeah, the RVR isn't quite as bad as forecast. I'm pretty glad about that. Yes, it was lovely buttery landing. Good use of the butter emojis today. But yeah, nice. What would happen now then? So if this was actually the first flight of the day and I dealt with this issue, or the last flight of the day, first thing I do is come on stand, set the parking brake. I'd contact the main troll, the maintenance department, explain what happened. I'd also contact operations. This would require a report to be filed, of course. Any technical issue, it sort of does in a way. They might, for certain situations, get you to pull the cockpit voice recorder as well. I mean, a loss of a hydraulic system is a pretty serious technical issue. It doesn't make our life too more difficult from a normal operation, but it's a serious technical problem. It shouldn't have happened. So I'm just going what happened and why as well. But there you go. Martin, parking brake uses system B. Yeah, normal brakes are using system B, so there would be no issue with the parking brake, even with loss of system A, I think. Lost system B, so you're all good. In the event of losing all hydraulic systems, there's a brake accumulator which stores pressure and allows you to use brakes after landing, but you don't want to pump them. So in all cases, with even a loss of A and B, you've got brakes available. Perfect. Well, we'll call that a day. We'll log off of VATSIM. Guys, if you are interested, I have a playlist called 737 Non-Normal Situations. I think Nightbot has been sending the link occasionally as well. So this stream I will pop into that playlist as well. So I think it'll be quite a nice one for people to play back as well. And we'll definitely look at some more non-normal situations in the future again. I think it was certainly brings a certain element or a different element to the live streams as well. As far as my actions today and how I would have done things, pretty much identical to real life. Just a question over this weather, really. In reality, with the RVR less than 1,000 meters, which it was on the last one there, I probably wouldn't have decided to come into Delhi, but this is India. I'm unfamiliar with the airspace, what would be a suitable airport, but at the planning stage we would have had to look at all the airports when the weather is forecast to be below what's minimum required for the approach. We'd have fuel for an alternate, the furthest alternate, and additional fuel on top of that. So yeah, it's something I probably would have done differently and might not have committed to Delhi, but for the purpose of the stream, the fact that ATC came online to provide ATC today, you know, I was happy that with the weather we could get in, which we did. Jibs, don't forget to update the air rack. I'll definitely do that before next stream as well. Cool, right, well, cool about today. We'll log off VATS in there. Wasn't expecting any ATC, but it was great to get some. As I said, the scenery here is by Avinash C, as it was in Hyderabad as well. It does require some of the libraries in XP11, but all is explained on the download page. Really nice scenery, completely free to download, as was Hyderabad as well. And yeah, guys, go check out India a few times in the future. Give them guys some traffic. Cool, so we'll turn the music down here and cue the good old funky replay music, if I can find it. I need to be a lot better. I need to get a soundboard or something so I could just say it and then just play the music like that, but I have to find it in Streamlabs. There we go. I found it now anyway. Oh, it's really loud and funky. Right, let's pop ourselves onto the approach here. Nice landing. I thought I was going to smash it down at one point, but no, it came all good at the last second. So you can see this like a... There we are going into the lower visibility. Doors open. Oh, lovely. Yeah, that was spot on. Oh, lies.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
Neequix for the 19 months as a member. Fantastic use of your monthly comment perk with dancing pretty girls. Thank you very much, Nick05. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Yeah, that was spot on. Door open on pushback and landing, I know. I think it might have something to do with the air bridge connecting. Hello, Jack. You just come in right now. Good timing. Not when I was trying to land last seconds. I can't believe the doors open. Beautiful. So you can see, I don't know if it'll do it on the replay actually. No, I don't think it does it anyway, but the flight spoilers, the ground spoiler modelling, so you have, let's have a look at the wing. Loud. That's a bit better. So yeah, you got 4 flight spoilers on each wing, and 2 ground spoilers. The ground spoilers here and here won't deploy with loss of system A, so your stopping performance is slightly, I don't know if you can hear me at all guys, slightly affected. Slightly affected.
Approaching minimums.
Sam T, welcome as a member, buddy. Glad you enjoyed the stream today. You'll get invited to our members only Discord. Hope you enjoy using the custom emojis and chat in the next live stream. Thanks a lot for the support, buddy. Thank you. We'll do one more view from here so you can see all the passengers jumping out the door. Why did the air brakes deploy? They did on the main replay. Sometimes I think it doesn't work properly, especially if you had a failure like we've had today. But the spoilers deployed. I'm losing the plot here. The spoilers deployed, but not the ground spoilers. That's the one I was looking for. Super. There we are. Well, I'll pop you in this lovely wing view so you can enjoy the approach as we just pop out under the clouds and land here in Delhi. Sweet. Well, I hope you enjoyed that non-normal simulations stream. We'll do more in the future. I think an engine failure is the next one we'll look at there. I'll surprise myself on that one. I'll actually activate the failure on a timer, so it'll happen at some point during the flight at any time. Hopefully not when I'm having my toilet break, but it'll be quite an interesting one to see. We might have to look at then definitely diverting, doing that as an option. But we'll do probably Dash 8 next again. Normal Zebo mod stream with no issues, maybe a 2-sector day. Airbus A340 coming as well. And also, I've got a product unboxing and review coming up on the channel, but I can't say any more than that. It's the first time I've ever done that. That will be in the next few weeks as well. But I'm looking forward to showing that too. Thank you very much, Matech. I don't know if you've just rejoined or a new member. I've got so many guys coming in now. Matech, 3 months, cabin crew prepared, cabin for landing. Make sure not to fall out the 1R door. No No comment for that one. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Members, thank you so much for the support. To everyone who donated as well, thank you so much for your generosity. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest content. I'll see you all for another live stream very soon. Good night.